Okay, we're live. Man, I feel like I just ran a mile and jumped in the chair and turned on the video chat, but here we are. And maybe I'll catch my breath in a minute, but it is Monday, April 30th, 2018. This is the Stunthangar video hangout. I'm Rusty from the Stunthangar Control Line forums, and this is our twice weekly show where we talk about aeromodeling and anything else you like to do with tools, be it in your shop or at the racetrack or whatever. We talk about everything from cars, boats, planes, trains, and automobiles. And the video chat box, or rather the chat box, is open on the video watch page on the Stunthangar YouTube page, on the watch page where you can see this video. And if you want to use that to communicate with us, just type in the chat box, ask us questions, answer questions, whatever you want to say, and we'll incorporate you in our conversation here. And it looks like we're stacking up some viewers. We're up to 4 viewers on YouTube right now. Nobody's coming in live yet, but it usually takes a few minutes to get going. And I just posted a link to the At the Bench thread to my friend Ken Cook from the Philly Flyers that I'm hoping will come in with us. He says Monday's not the best night. Fridays would probably be a lot more likely for him to be able to come in, but I went ahead and gave him all the info he needed to get in here. So hopefully he'll join us, and maybe we'll pick up a few Philly Flyers if he likes it. So maybe Ken will come give us a visit. Meanwhile, we'll be here till about midnight, and I'll be sitting here trying to act interesting and listening to everybody talk about airplanes, bills, flying, everything else. So one of you guys, we got 5 of you now watching over on YouTube. Somebody send me a sign, let me know who you are, unless you want to remain anonymous, and that's all fine too. We don't mind that. That's what the internet's for, if you so desire to remain anonymous. But I went to Lowe's yesterday and spent about 2 hours just walking around, picking up everything and touching it and putting it back. And some of the stuff jumped in the buggy, and I ended up coming home with everything I need to retool to my Cardinal wing project. I've got the fuselage all finished. It's sitting in the jig. Needs dope and paper on it, but that can be done on any nice low humidity day. And other than that, it's done. It's ready for the wing. So we're going to clean the tabletop off, put everything where it needs, get the shop vac out and attack the shop, and make it look nice again. It's been since October, I think, since I really gave that shop a good cleaning and reorganization. And I can't stand it when it's a mess. I've still got everything pretty much where it belongs, but it's, got bits and pieces of wood, paper, and junk all over the floor. And I look forward to finding every screw and washer that I dropped and couldn't find over the course of the winter. And so we'll do that in the next couple of days. And meanwhile, this week is the run up to Huntersville and our first contest of the spring. And so on Thursday, I'll spend some of Thursday staging, getting everything ready I need to go up there. And we'll drive up there Friday. Hope to be there in time for the judging clinic. And here comes Sparky. Hey, good evening, Sparky. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Let me turn this down. What the hell? Here we are. It's 10 o'clock again. Bedtime.
Yeah. 9:48. You got your YouTube going in the background.
No, I don't.
Oh, well, maybe I do. Let me check. It didn't start doing that until you came on. Now I got my YouTube muted and minimized. So I don't know. I don't hear it. I don't hear the echo anymore. So it went away.
Well, I had you turned up pretty loud. It probably was feeding back through my mic.
Yeah, it could be. You look like your connection's a little glitchy too. Your video is skipping lots of frames.
Yeah, my computer may be downloading something or some shit. Let me look here.
I usually reboot mine about a half hour or so before uh, the show starts. Make sure everything in the background is finished and done. And I didn't have time to tonight, so no telling what could be crawling around in the background while I'm doing this. But yeah, that's one thing I learned early on is this uses a lot of resources. So you know, do a fresh reboot, check your startup files, make sure nothing's starting up that you don't want in the background.
Yeah, well, we're connected to my VPN now. That might have straightened out. No.
Well, that's all right. We can still see you. We can hear you without any interruption too. And we got 7 guys watching on YouTube. If y'all want to jump in the chat box, feel free to ask or answer questions or just generally talk about what you want to.
How about that? I turned the bandwidth up. Does that look better?
It does, absolutely. A lot of times turning it down helps. Sometimes turning it up helps, but that did the trick. Yeah, you're normal looking now.
Well, I got my camera gear ready. I got my whiteboard in today.
All right. And some professional stuff.
Do you know what that's for?
I've never understood exactly. Just thought when the thing snaps, that's when the cameramen push the go buttons.
No.
It's not.
No. you push the go buttons a long ways before the snap. You say scene 1, take 1, and 3, 2, 1. That noise makes a spike in the audio. So when you're in editing, you take that spike and you cut it right there at the spike, and you take the audio file and cut it at the spike, and then you can marry them together.
Okay. Excellent. I didn't know that. But now, yeah, I kind of started assuming that right as you said, no, I was wrong. And then started telling me about that. I thought, yeah, that's what it is. Sure enough, they know exactly where to patch it all together in editing.
And they just lay the 2 spikes up.
Yeah.
And then it goes on from there.
Now, when they cut, do they do a snap when they cut too?
No.
Just when they start.
Yeah. Now, this camera I'm going to be using, I'll be bringing to Joan All. We'll shoot 120 frames a second. And if you play it back at 24 frames, it's super slow motion. But the audio is at that 120 frames. So you'd be talking, too slow. So I got a Zoom recorder. That's why I gotta do the, I'm recording the audio on a separate track.
Okay. This is turning into a pretty good whole new hobby for you. Well, I don't know about new, but it's really a developing hobby for you. That's good.
Well, I'm going to try to make a control line movie this summer. I need to find a kid that can act.
Yeah, they can all act one way or another. Getting the kid to act the way you want him to is the problem.
They act up pretty good.
What kind of acting do you want him to do?
The storyline is take a kid, 7, 8 years old, and show him doing whatever with jumping beans or what, just some young kid, and then I'll cut and progress, and I'll find someone of you guys as an old man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just kind of a progression throughout the years.
Start the kid off in sepia too, if you wanted to. Like it's old timey looking. Hey, Gerald just joined us with a big green super chat. Thank you, Gerald. We appreciate that. It's the kind of thing that keeps us going.
I didn't see that.
It's in the chat box.
Got to be on YouTube. I don't have that open.
Yeah, I pop it out and then minimize the YouTube page, but that way I can put the chat box right next to the video. I hope my buddy Ken Cook got my message. He's a Philly flyer, a friend of mine that I wanted to invite to the show, and I started writing him a PM last night about how to get in, and I went and gave him the At the Bench links tonight. So he said Friday was more likely, but I figured I'd go ahead and give it to him tonight. So,
what size shirt do you wear?
T-shirts, I usually about a medium, I guess.
I'm gonna give you
Medium or large.
a couple of the Stunthangar shirts this year, and
cool.
roll of that blue monocoat, which
I wonder if I donated or contributed to the Stunthangar forum in the wrong place, because I hadn't gotten my jet plane yet. I might have done it in the wrong place, but it went through PayPal to Stunthangar, I think. So
you got your plane. Oh no, that's 17. Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
Tom.
Rusty. Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
Oh, we're gonna get an airplane ready for some first-time flyers.
Oh, good.
That's what we like to hear. Some new first-time flyers.
Yeah. Right now, this airplane is so nose heavy. It's crazy.
That doesn't look like a first-time flyer type plane right there. Is that what you're? What is that?
Well, this is a Coyote.
Is it a profile?
Yep. There's a lot of bright light on this.
Click on him, Rusty.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's too. It's awful bright.
That settled down pretty good.
See it?
That's like the Walter Twister, Fancerized Twister,
Sorta. But this nose
is way too long.
Oh yeah, it's solid balsa wood. That's the only hollow part right there. But this part here, it's all solid. And like you said, it's way too long. So anyway, just need something that flies real, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Tough wing. It's covered with coverite, the fabric.
You got my beard growing on there, Tom.
Yeah. Well, it's coming off here in a couple weeks.
I'm gonna cut mine into a mustache.
Yeah. I've had the kids want to get a hold of it and braid it and put beads in it, And every time they come around, I gotta hide.
Hogs and Plains Daryl is over on the YouTube side.
Hey, Daryl.
Welcome, Daryl. Hope you can maybe come in and visit us live, but if you want to hang out over on YouTube, that's cool too. I hope everything's been good. Hadn't seen you in a long time. That's back up there in Canada. Maybe spring is starting to spring and you can get out and do a little bit of flying. I get some notifications on YouTube sometimes, but never have a chance to watch all of my friends' notifications because I just don't have time to sit in front of the computer very much, except for when I'm doing this. So I fall way back on watching all of you guys' flying reports and that sort of thing.
Oh man, I've just been busy as heck all week. I mean, swamped. Kind of This is about the most relaxing time I've had right here. I was looking forward to tonight.
It's a good way to chill out.
What kind of engine you got in that thing, Tom? The 40 or
Yeah. It's a OSLA 40. Boy, it's stuck way back in there.
That's a pretty
Daryl,
cool.
I mean, Daryl Hogs and Planes, he says he's at work, so he hopes everybody here is doing well. I think most of us are. We weathered
I'm good.
one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been looking for these Allen head screws forever. I didn't know I had them on this plane.
Those particular Allen head screws.
Yeah. Yeah. My primary flyers, I have everything Allen.
That's those 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
This
without,
on
I mean, so every time I go to buy muffler screws, the ones I pick up have long shoulders on them and are only threaded down at the end, and run out of threads before I get the muffler tightened on or something like that.
I get mine from Fastenal.
Yeah, I need to go to McMaster Car or Fastenal or
I got a
places and just
Fastenal account for a long time, and they're here in town, you know, local.
Yeah, I need to get just one of those kits for, you know, $50. You get a kit with a whole bunch of different sizes of metric and SAE screws in it.
I noticed there's a guy on eBay selling the muffler bolts for OS engines. You know, he sold them in packets of 10, I think. So that's another source for them anyway.
Last time Bob went up to Brodak and came home, I got him to bring me some muffler bolts. So I got a few of them now. He's always good for a shopping trip. When he goes to Brodak, he always lets us know and passes by because he has family and friends up that way, and always stops into the hobby shop. What'd you do this weekend, Jamie? Did you go to a contest?
No, I'm going to this coming weekend.
Charles went to a contest, didn't he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I sent him a PM and wished him luck, but hadn't heard anything back. So maybe he'll come in tonight and give us a flight report, contest report.
Yeah, I went flying yesterday. My first time. I got about, let's see, I got 6 flights in. Not very much. I did get that 4-stroke in the air. Different flying airplane, but boy, I sure don't know what the hell I'm doing with a 4-stroke yet. That's going to take a lot of time of learning.
Yeah, I don't know 4-strokes well either, but I do hear and understand why too, that once you get the hang of them, they are extremely smooth and user friendly.
I mean, I was out in a circle and I couldn't tell if it's running, you know, rich. That was I could tell when it was running lean, but it's just a different sound to me, a whole different running beast.
They pretty much just run steady all the way through, don't they?
Yeah, but it's like when I took off, I was running, I thought was lean, and I was at about 9,600 RPM. And once it took off, I did a lap, and all of a sudden, it's like like someone half closed the throttle on me. But yet the plane felt just like it did when it first took off, and so I don't understand.
Maybe you got some kind of leak in the carburetor.
Don't know. I'm going to check it out though.
Let's see what Sparky's got here. He's pointing a science fiction looking electronic eye at us. Hey, there's Big Brother. So that's what Big Brother looks like. In for the hills.
Well, Tom, you were using a 52, and your OS 52 Surpass. Is that right?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Tom, was it a OS 52 that you were using?
What, fuel line?
Oh, no, the four-stroke engine, was it an OS 52?
Well, you're cutting up a little bit. I can't understand exactly what you're saying.
Oh,
What
the engine you were using, Tom, was it an OS Surpass 52?
Oh, that four-stroke?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 52. It's a OS Surpass. Or
Yeah.
is that how you say it?
That's it. Yeah.
Surpass.
And how many ounces of fuel did you use, and what sort of prop did you try it on?
I used the APC 11.5. I did get the manual for it. I read in there about what type of fuel, and they said the factory carburetor settings is set with a 10% nitro, 20% blend fuel. So 10% nitro, and then 10 synthetic, and then 10 Castrol. So that'd be right, 20% in a gallon.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Let me turn it around here.
Wait, what's it for?
This is an Osmo. This shoots 4K video.
Oh,
That's what I'm setting up.
is that what you're going to use for the Nats this year?
Yep.
Yeah, that's for like super high resolution professional video work.
Sure is.
If you run along like this, it's got a 4-axis gimbal. If you run along, the camera stays steady.
Yep,
Oh, wow.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah,
that
it's amazing.
is. Is there a motor controlling that, gyroscopes or what?
I don't know how it works. I didn't build it. This is all spring action, and then there's some type of electronics in here to.
it's just like a pantograph arm, it's just got springs for different tensions. So when you move it or whatever, the weight that's there, the springs keep it level. That's pretty cool stuff, man. Did you get that Amazon maybe?
I've been buying it piece at a time for about a year now.
Oh.
I remember you talking about the camera, but not the mount for the Osmo.
I just got the mount the other day.
That's nice. It's actually sweet.
You're going to do some general control line videos, just introductions to control line.
And then this mount's on a tripod here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, I think I went a little overboard on the movie making for control line, but I like doing it.
Those are nice curtains.
Yeah.
No, here's Charles.
Here's Charles.
Here I am. Hey guys.
Charles.
How did the contest go?
It was a nice contest. I think we had about 20 participants. We had some fans also, some spectators. And it was kind of windy a little bit. But I didn't do as well as I'd like to have done. But Dennis Nunes, he actually took first in advance. And I have a picture of the scoreboard if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let me see if I can.
See, control the gimbal from the notepad here.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
Let's click on Charles first.
Yeah, get back to you, Sparky. Let's look at Charles's score sheet here.
Actually, it's the scoreboard.
Hmm.
What was the score?
Well, I got a 504 in the first round and a 501 in the second round. The winner, Dennis Nunez, who you guys know, he's on the call.
Yeah.
In the first round, he got 522
Congratulations. And a 518.
and a 518.
Yeah. Good work, Dennis.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll drop in with us tonight.
So, but if I would have had appearance points, I would have probably at least placed.
Oh, that's
Maybe.
Yeah,
second.
you got beat by 1.5 points up there. Oh no, I got 513. So, but still. Well,
Yeah, so this happened to me again at a contest. I really had to build a plane.
That's pretty good, Charles.
Oh, thank you.
the day I fly a 500 flight will be a happy day.
Yeah, it's I've been getting I dip down sometimes, but I've been hovering around 500 and change.
Yeah.
I think my best score has been 512. And mind you, that's with no appearance points. I think Dennis' plane got 17 points. So he has some nice planes.
Did your equipment treat you right? You were a little worried about your equipment.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, you know, I had put the stalker back in there Friday. You know, so it's a totally different setup than what I had before with the stalker because I was running a different prop in the past, and this was a prop that I started to like. It's a two blade, so I wasn't sure of the fuel that I needed, and so I really didn't get much practice with it. I never really got a chance to see the time. So at the contest, I got there early, and on the first practice flight, I had too lean of a run. But even though it was lean, I ran out of fuel after the I think it was after the overhead 8, right? So then I thought I filled it, but I actually it was just kind of spitting fuel out of the overflow. It wasn't like a stream of fuel coming out. So I made sure that I filled it up. So I filled it up and made sure I had a stream of fuel coming out. And then my second practice, I ran out of gas after I just completed, you know, when the 4-leaf clover ends, you go back over the top.
Yeah.
Right at the very top, it ran out of fuel.
That's where my Thunderbolt ran out.
It sure was.
Yeah. And so I actually, but I had slack in the line, so I started running back to catch the lines, and so I was able to recover and land. And so that's what I had going into the contest before my first official.
Were you able to get your 2 laps in before you landed?
No, I was happy to just catch the plane, you know.
Yeah. So you didn't get the pattern points.
No, that was a practice.
Oh.
That was a practice. I got 2 practice flights, and the first one was a lean run. The second one was a rich run. And so when I did the first official, the plane came to the roll at 8 minutes.
Wow. Not over, not under, but right at 8. That's
right at 8, you know. And then the second one, I don't know where I came at, but yeah, it was you know, the weather was pretty nice. It was a little windy. We had I didn't record the wind speeds. I didn't even think to take out my anemometer to see what the wind was blowing. But it wasn't so bad that I had to check it. It was just as Sparky knows, you know, you got those trees, you know, around the circles, and they're notorious for taking out planes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that my friend, another friend of mine at the top of this here, Fred Stately, he lost a very nice imitation with a I think it's a OS Max 40 VF, either 40 VF or 46 VF. The wing is fine, but he was doing an outside square, and the plane was just pushed down to the deck. You know, unbeknownst to him, he was like, it caught him off guard, and he just, blah!
Yeah. Looks like a couple of the expert guys were pretty consistent. Brett Buck, 0.3 difference between his two flights.
Yeah, you know, Brett Buck is like a machine out there, you know.
590 and a 590.3.
Yeah. So I didn't really watch much of the experts. I was too focused on what I was doing.
Seems to be like that at contests. Yeah. Look at what I was done after the event.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh, I was just saying it's often like that at contests. You focus on your performance and think about what others did after the event when you've got time to go back and look over the scores.
Yeah. But it was fun. You know, Dennis and I we roommated one night. He got there Friday. I didn't get there till Saturday morning. I drove straight to the contest. And then there was a party at Warren Walker's house, which is, man, that guy can cook, and he has a man cave to die for. He really does. He has a nice man cave. It's the whole length of his house, kind of like in a basement, but it's really nice. Even has a paint booth in it.
Oh, cool. Has he got a pool table?
No pool table. And, you know, he might have one in his house. He has a pretty nice house. Never seen the house, but his man cave, there's a patio to his man cave, and then he has like an outdoor kitchen, a full kitchen out there. And he was cooking paella, and I mean, it was a great time.
Man, that's really cool, Sparky.
Well, I don't know. I just trying to figure it out.
I like how that iPad, or you know, that pad mounts on there where you're looking at that, not through the camera. That's pretty cool.
Then we got.
And then you can take that off and like a grip off the stand and still keep everything right there.
Oh yeah,
A hood for the sun. If you got something that goes over that display so you can block the sun out.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
I got a interview mic so we can do audio, and then I got the mic so that I can catch the background sound. And let me see here. What the hell else? Oh, I got a hood for this. I can get a hood or a shield for the iPad.
Yep. That's like them RC guys on the transmitters. You know, if they want to see and fly, you know, them drones, they got a shield on them.
And I can put this on I can hold this in my hand, or I can put it on my monopod, or whatever I want to do. I'm going to get a boom extension too. I think come my next payday, I'll get a boom for that. It adds like 4 foot so that I can raise the camera up and down.
Oh, I thought he was talking about a boom. Like you don't have to have one for your mic, right?
No, I got a boom over there for the mic.
Oh,
I got all the shit. The problem is I only got one guy.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't bring roadies with you.
Yeah.
I'm a crew of one. I'm trying to figure out how to do it all by myself.
Damn it, the hell. Shit.
It was really great to have Charles help me the other year.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was fun.
Is that when you did the Brodak tour?
Yeah, I did the Brodak tour, and I think I did 2 or 3, at least 3 videos. They're not all published. It might have been more than that. I know I did some of the appearance judging, and I got lots of pictures though. one day I need to make a photo album and show you the album. It's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I'll be doing a video of Joan All, and I'll do a video of Brodak's Museum, and then of course the event.
Well, that's something to look forward to. I look forward to seeing more events like that.
I've never seen Brodak's Museum, so I'll look forward to seeing
Don't
it.
worry about it, neither have I. I've seen the building, but it wasn't open last year.
How do you show videos on this Google Hangout? If I wanted to share a video, how would I do that?
Share video. Same thing as a share picture.
Share a screen. You share the screen and then just click on your video.
Just start it playing and then do screen share, I guess.
Yep, pretty much.
Never had any success doing it.
Yeah, I remember one night you were trying to do that and ended up giving up.
Yeah. So how do you do it? You start the video first?
Offline or something too, I think.
That's what I'd do, Charles. Start the video first like you're watching it, then go back to this screen and open the screen share, and then select the application window and then the video.
As I meant to get more video, I only have a video of a guy named Stephen McBride. You know Stephen McBride, Sparky? His dad is Ruben.
No, I don't.
Yeah, they're from the East Coast, and but they're out. I think they're out in Vegas. I think. But I was using Stephen McBride to kind of set up my camera, and I thought I had it all set up, and then I thought I had it on record, but I meant to record, the first round and then even the second round, but I thought I had the first round recorded of Advance, but all I got was me trying to set up Stephen McBride. See here.
What you working at, Jamie?
I'm doing share webbing.
What, the Twister?
Yeah.
Well, I went to Lowe's and spent 3 or 4 hours wandering around yesterday and picking up stuff and looking at it and putting it back, but enough stuff jumped in the buggy while I was there that I got what I need to retool my table and area for building the Cardinal wing.
All right.
Fuselage is done, and I just need to go get started on that wing, but that means cleaning that table out and re-leveling the glass and putting new sheetrock on top of it. I had intended to paint the fuselage immediately after finished building it, but hell with that, it can wait. I'll paint it before I put the wing in it, but I wanted to see what color the monocoat Sparky's got for me is before I match the blue against that. It's that transparent, kind of dark blue. He put it on one of his Voodoos, and I think that's what he put it on. And so I want to paint match that the closest I can get with that Duplicolor. Perfect touch, perfect match, and so it can wait. It's time to start the wing.
So when you paint the fuselage, you're going to paint it just primer gray and then glue it to the wing, or actually paint it with color and everything?
I'm gonna go ahead and put the colors on it because that'll require a lot less masking and it's easier to sweep across your paint area when you don't have a wing in the way to go over and then under like that. So it's just something new. I've always painted with the plane completely assembled, and I want to try something different this time. And I think I'm gonna find it's easier to paint the fuselage without the wing in it.
So would you just mask where the wing's going to go so that you have a wood-to-wood?
When I first started building the plane, I made a plug that fills the wing root, and it taps in there what I did on the twister, I did the same thing. So I tapped it in there and then covered it. Well, before I did, I covered it with tape that was a 1/4 inch wider than the rib cutout, and then tapped it in there. And it comes with it that way. When you tap it all the way in, it's got a built-in mask that doesn't let paint get where your fillets and all are going to be, and where your gluing area is going to be. And so that'll stay in there while I'm painting it and keep it masked off. And so I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah. So when you get the so that part will have no paint on it where the masking is.
Right.
And then when you glue it into the wing, you have to touch it up again.
Well, that's where the fillets will be going. So then I'll paint anything or any coloring that's going to be on the wing if I need to mask off and paint the fillets. But I may not. Well, I guess I probably will, because they're going to be super fill. So yeah, I'll have to remask above them and below them, but that is not that much trouble.
No, it doesn't. Let's talk about it. That's a good idea.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, I'm out of here. I got to go to bed.
Okay, Sparky, I'm sorry
right,
to stay up so late for you old guys, but us youngins will hang out here for a while. And
5 o'clock.
All right, buddy.
See you.
Good night, Sparky.
good night. Fair winds, tight lines.
See you.
See ya.
The famous stunt hanger call out. See ya. Right. Oh, and or when if Shug would come in, it'd be, "Ooh, buddy."
Yeah.
You posted a new video on there.
Out at Fort Jackson when we made videos of flying, me and Wayne would holler out something about South Carolina, "Ooh, buddy," and in tribute to Shug. He's posted a little bit lately. I think he posted a video or something, and like everything else, hadn't had a chance to really read it. It was something long that he wrote. I think in the How I Got Started section, and like everybody else's stuff, I hadn't had time to go through it and take a close look at it. Oh, George Gonzalez is here. I didn't even notice you came in, George. Sorry about that. Good evening. I hope you're still with us. Did you ever get into Stunthangar? I'm typing, "Hi, George." And yeah, I didn't see you come in, George. Tell us if you ever got into Stunthangar or not. That turned out to be more troublesome than I expected. But Sparky was saying the other night that when you do sign up, you have to use your first and last name with a space between them, not an underscore, not anything. And then your email address. And that's all you need to join. Then you can change your avatar name to whatever you want. Should get a control line video on the weekend. Oh, that's what Daryl says. Should get a control line video on the weekend. You mean this weekend, I presume? I need to go over to Stunthangar. I noticed right before I came online that Jamie had posted, but I didn't get a look at Jamie to see when she had posted. I'm gonna mute Tom while he's sawing that plane in half. Oh, there you go. It's all right. I got you.
Shug was flying as what do you call it? Oh, heck. Oh, his Strager. I don't know what motor he had on it, but he just edited out the flights and the laps in between. But he was posting quite a nice flight there.
He's got a nice touch.
Yeah, he makes it very entertaining, very watchable.
He goes to all the trouble to put cameras all around, climb poles, put them up there, and he gets all kinds of different points of view with his cameras. It's pretty neat to watch.
Yeah, my kids like watching Shug's videos, and they like reading Matthew Spencer's posts, but they're looking for the entertainment value, I think. Yeah. Just watching a boring guy just standing there like me flying a plane ain't enough for them. They're looking for something else.
Sugar's an energetic, entertaining guy.
Yeah.
So energetic. I think he's about as old as we are too, so I don't know where he gets it all.
Keeping fit and active, I think, is part of it. But yeah, he really does a good performance in the ring as well. When you watch some of his other videos where he's performing, doing his live stage shows, he's quite good.
Yeah, he does great. I've watched him at the state fair and some of those, and they can be hilarious too. One time he was playing with his unicycle and walked away with it with the wheel trailing behind him, and it looked like, well, it obviously reminded him of a surveyor's wheel, you know, and he looks over his shoulder as he's walking away and says, I was a born surveyor. I thought I was going to fall out of the chair laughing when he said that. I don't think half of the audience got it, or if they did, I couldn't tell, but I laughed. Carol says he uses a Magnum 52 on his Strega.
Oh, he's doing well then.
Is that a four-stroke?
I know I think there's a two-stroke and a four-stroke, so yeah, that could be either.
I remember him having we had a little bit of conversation about his Strega. I was shortly going to finish mine, and I contacted him. I think he has like an Enya 61 on his Strega. At least he had at one time Enya 61 on it.
Yeah, a nice engine from all accounts.
Yeah, it's the new one with the the red head.
Yeah.
It's a rear exhaust.
Daryl
no, I think it was a side exhaust. I think.
Daryl says the one I asked him about was a two-stroke, the Magnum 52 that Shug's using.
Yeah, I thought he was doing the Magnum 52 in his score. He gives a top flight score. Because matter of fact, I was curious which one he thought was better, the score or the Strega. But at that time, he hadn't had enough flights on the score to determine that.
Yeah. He's been flying that Strega for a while now. I think I remember maybe some of his first flights on it that he put on YouTube.
Yeah, Score is a good flying plane. It's a heavy plane, and even though the Strega is heavy, but the Strega has such a big wing area, it's not a consideration. Unlike the Score. I have a second Score, but it's so modified, it doesn't look like one. And my second Score has a double star 61 in it. And they're both pretty good flying planes. I did pretty well with my Score. I've been flying ARFs in competition for several years now, so it's the Score served me well up through intermediate. Now I'd still be flying it if it wasn't for a hardware failure.
Hardware failure is one that gets you. I had that recently with two models.
Yeah, I had the upright of the flap break off, if you can believe that.
Damn arse.
So the push rod was solid all the way from the bell crank all the way to the elevator, but it was just floating in the air, the upright part of the flap horn. So the made the controls extremely stretchy.
To say the least. You mean, it was still hooked to the elevator,
Yeah,
but
I brought it down. I
bring
bring it down. I don't know what was wrong with the plane. I just couldn't believe how unresponsive it was.
Yeah.
And then when I got down, I saw that the flaps weren't moving.
That happened to my son Otto with his elevator, the two elevators that were hinged together with the joiner. One of them came loose and it was fluttering around in flight and the whole thing was vibrating like crazy.
Oh, wow.
And he was flying scale at the Waikato Champs and everybody's yelling out with a megaphone, bring it down before it falls apart.
Right.
But he got it safely.
I had the flaps come detached on my ARF Cardinal. It was fuel soaked, and the hinges I don't think were ever properly glued in. It was an old ARF that had hung on the wall in Watmore's shop ever since I first met him, and I always looked at that plane thinking, man, I'd like to have a plane like that someday. And one day, Wayne brought it home from Watt's shop and brought it to me. Watt had given it to me to fly, and so I flew it through 2 seasons of contests and won a couple of trophies. And I was practicing out at the fort, and that the flap hinges just let go, and the coupler came loose when they let go, and everything went to hell in a hurry.
Yes.
And that was the end of the Cardinal. And it was, of course, in the middle of a square 8, and that's never a good place.
Yeah, it's not
controls.
already a challenging enough maneuver.
Yeah, that's a punishing maneuver on an airframe. It's just going to come apart. That's a good place to expect it.
I had my model come apart. I think it was in the square 8s as well. My the Yakusoka D4Y, my profile scale model. I was flying it in the square 8s at Whangarei, and the connector came off the flap, and it just went, instead of doing a square, it did a straight in, and it's repaired now. I've just got to put the tank back on it, and I've taken all the scale fittings off it. I've taken all the servos and the dropping tail hook. All that's been taken off, so I should be lighter than what I was to begin with anyway, without all the servos in it. So I can carry on flying at Stunt. It was okay as a scale model, but it wasn't accurate enough. So I thought, well, I'll just use it as a backup Stunt model.
Yeah.
Was this crash on grass or was it on asphalt?
It was on grass, so the wings sheared off, and the fuselage was torn up to a little bit, but it was fairly firm, the ground, when it hit, and it really didn't damage the boat.
The ground's just about as hard as concrete if it's been dry for a while.
Yeah, that was the end of March, end of our summer. So yeah, it was a pretty hard whack. But then my other scale model, my Fairy Firefly, I was flying along with that. I'd done all my maneuvers, and I was just winding down, getting ready to land. And then next thing, it just went along and then went straight in. And again, it was the connector from the bell crank to the flap. The little clevis had come off because I'd used a wheel collar on it. Sorry, the wheel collar had come off, and I'd lost my flap connection and the flap to elevator connection with it, and it just went straight in. That was so frustrating. I was just flying it straight and level. I was going along at 5 foot height and just went vertical into the ground. And luckily, it's not fuel soaked being an electric model, but it's all glued back together now. I've just got to redo the decals on it. But yeah, control system failures like that are painful when you watch it happening and you can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything, yeah. You gotta just. And most of the time, you don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what happened. Kind of dumps out that you actually can inspect it and see what happened, you know?
Yeah, well, my flying buddy's a retired FAA accident investigator, so he's got to investigate everything, and sometimes he investigates it to the point where I want him to just stop. Stop. Enough. Pilot error, my ass.
That's funny. Yeah.
I'm flying with the feds.
Well, my last accident was that, on my hand. And
oh, yeah.
And that was just pure dumb luck and tired. My wife was saying, it's nearly dark, quick, go out and get a flight. And she said, I'll come out and pit for you. And we got my old Fox Hawk started, and I was just trying to adjust the needle. And I was using a screwdriver. And as I turned, my wrist, went into the propeller. And it just went chomp, chomp, chomp. And it wasn't just taking cuts, it was taking gashes out.
Oh, man. It's making me wince just thinking about it.
Yeah,
I use a lot of carbon fiber props, so I'm always extremely careful around the thing. I actually have a tool when it's a Super Tiger needle valve. I actually have a tool that I made. It's in my car, but it actually allows me to adjust the needle way beyond the spread of the prop suite.
Yeah, that sounds
my hand is totally out of the way. It's kind of a nuisance. Sometimes I don't like using that tool because it's so long. It doesn't stick in my pockets very well. But sometimes, like My Striga, right? Well, the Striga had a prop extension, which gives you a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah.
You know, right now the Striga I have they set up now does not have a prop extension, so it's something I might consider going back to using that tool. So my hands are far away from that spinning prop.
There's my poor old thumb.
Ow!
That was a 6.3 prop on a MP Jet 061 engine.
So it looks like you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 revolutions.
Yeah, 12 of them, I think. So I could probably calculate, knowing the RPMs, I could probably calculate how long my finger was in the path of that prop.
Exactly, yeah, you sure could.
It's got that black paint wasn't obvious until it was photographed, but that was from painting the little Satan after I'd worked on it one day. But yeah, that was no fun.
It looks painful.
Yeah, it was, and it was hard to get it to heal up too. I had to keep a bandage on it for about a week, but and of course they get worse looking as they go along. They look worse about the third or fourth day than they do the first day or two.
Yeah.
One after a week was still bad, and I smelt it this morning. I said, "Oh no, it's going infected." And my wife bathed it with salt because I'd used iodine on it.
Yeah,
it must have got. And it's going to take a long time. But the problem with the Fox engine is the needle valve's so close to the prop, and they're really hard to turn.
Yeah,
they're so close, and they've got those short, bumpy needles.
Some of them are hard to turn too, and if you slip, you can jam a thumb into it.
Yeah, you're right. Some of them are hard to turn.
I mean, Daryl got this right here, and that's a terrible part to shove into the prop, the tip of it. If you sometimes put a knuckle into the backside of the blades, it won't really hurt anything. It'll scare the crap out of you, but it doesn't take a lot of skin off. It just, goes like that and startles you. But Gerald looks like he got around the tip of the blade where it can really do some chewing.
Yeah. Well, it was a 13-inch blade, so I couldn't clear it. So I was trying to reach around the blade, but being a 13-inch blade on, it was one of those nice, sharp APC-style props going through them the other week. But APC-style prop looks nice and works well, but shoots, does it cut flesh well?
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Those are sharp.
APC stands for a painful cut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you had to go as well, Jim?
Oh, Daryl jumped in on an earlier conversation and said that says I stand corrected. His Strega has a Paul Ellis Enya 61. Charles is right. The score has the 52.
Charles is right again.
Ding.
You know, because I've been thinking about putting a remote glow igniter point, so I can even avoid having to get around the prop, but just the extra weight, but there don't seem to be too much more weight, but just one more thing to do, but I've been thinking about that. So you can get the glow igniter out of the way.
I've noticed some people do that. They'll put especially if you don't have to turn your model upside down, they'll put a connection on your, like on the team races where they've got the inverted 5cc engines. They use the remote igniter to put it into a place where you can get it convenient, where you can keep the model upright.
Yeah, most of my planes have inverted motors, so I'm always having to reach underneath to grab it,
I might pop out and get a drink, and I heard a noise outside. I'll see if the boys are home early. They're back at school now. I'll just check.
Okay.
What's the resale value on a Super Tiger 51?
Control line motor?
$22.
Yeah, I mean, if you convert a control line.
Yeah, is it the G21 or is it the V?
The G51.
No. Yeah, that's a good. I've seen them all over the map. It all depends. But if it's a control line one, that definitely will help you out. I'd say probably
But
somewhere.
did they make a control line version, or all of them are just converted RC engines?
Yeah, they're all the same motor. Just I mean, the parts are the same. The only difference is the part number for the Venturi and needle valve, and the part number for the carburetor.
'Cause I scored it more than nothing.
This is a used motor or a brand new one?
It's used, but it's in pretty almost. It looks from the pictures. It looks like it looks new, but it's used. But if I was to guess by the pictures, I say not much runtime.
Wow. Yeah, if you put a needle valve and Venturi on there, I could probably at least get 150 for it.
Daryl's looking at one that he says a G51's $25 in the US, 355 Canadian. What?
Yeah, well, I just paid $47 shipped for it.
That's good. That's a great price.
Minnesota Mike says he split a few knuckles with a Nelson 36.
I imagine.
I'm gonna step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
More than likely selling that engine because they got the Bill Rutherford Memorial Contest in a few weeks in Houston, and I'm gonna probably use the money from that to go. Because I have no use for a G51.
You know, that motor, I use that motor in my score, and a very powerful motor. Matter of fact, there was a plane at the contest. It was a Brodak jet. I think that's what it's called, the Brodak jet. And he had a Super Tiger 51 in there, and he said that the 51 is more powerful than the 60. So I'll tell you, my 51, especially my 51 from Randy Smith, that is a kick butt motor. I mean, it's extremely powerful. It's just it's a higher RPM motor than any motor I had at that time. And now I've had, you know, some higher RPM motors as well. But it's a good motor.
It was the Super Tiger 61.
No, the Super Tiger 51, the G50, the G21. No, excuse me, the G51.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, I could stick it in my Cardinal if I want, but I mean, I don't need to, and I can just use my 46.
What does the G stand for? Is it on the Super Tiger designations?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, G51 is a powerful motor. It really is. It definitely is a Super Tiger 60 replacement.
Let's see. I'm gonna
I
don't know.
I'm gonna screen share it.
I
don't have the motor.
Sorry, Tom. I forgot I had you muted.
All right, look, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's the motor, all right.
I mean, it's used, but I mean, if you look at the mounting lugs, they look almost untouched. You know,
That's a nice looking. That's a nice looking engine.
And my wife's got one too. Well, she's got two of them. That's the control line one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it likes to rev.
Where I can get another one rigged up, ready to go for like $75, and it's already got a Venturi on it and everything. But I mean, and normally I wouldn't just spend money on an engine I don't need, but I know for the fact that I can get benefit from it. So why not?
Daryl clarified the $25 US, 355 Canadian was a joke.
Okay.
Okay. I get it.
So Gerald, what plane does your wife use the 51 on?
Well, she's got a large profile. It's a Messerschmitt profile. I'll see if I can show you it in the corner over there. Oh, where is it? It's the camo one with the spotty camo in the corner of the room.
Yep.
It's got like a 750, or is it 780 inch area? It's quite a large model.
Okay, it would need to be. That's a powerful. That's That's what I consider a beast of a motor.
Yeah, it was very powerful.
Hey, Hogs, it's terrible when you have to tell the people you hang out with when you tell a joke.
The new one was a bit short coupled. The tail, I helped her design it. And we made the tail a little bit too short, but it flies well. But she finds it a bit of a handful, just the weight of it. It's about 65 ounces. It's quite a heavy model.
Oh yeah, that's a very beastly machine there.
She built it. Oh, I've got my book of all my different models and the ones that me and my brother have built. And she built it a few years ago now. Yeah, I'd have to check on here, see which year well she built it. But the motor itself had plenty of power. There was no shortage of power there for what's quite a large model.
Yeah, it's almost a motor you might even have to detune, you know.
Tom, did you take the... Hold on, let me click on you over there. You took the cowling off of the front.
Yep. Yeah, this right here.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you were sewing on.
Yeah, 2.5 ounces.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Yep. It's solid, and it's like oak.
What are you working on, Tom?
If it was super lightweight,
It's
ball
an old
save.
Coyote that's been handed down, and I'd like to get it going for some first-time flyers. I'm going to an RC club the 20th of May, and they want me to. I'm going to bring. They want to fly one.
Okay, cool.
Some of them last time they flew was like when he was a kid, and some of them never have. So I thought, well, I ought to give them something kind of heavy. You know what I mean? And this would be perfect, but gosh, you could put full up, and it just goes, you know, every bit really super slow before it gets up there.
Right.
It'll do a beautiful takeoff.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But I just want it to be a little more tail heavy a little bit, so you know when they go up, it goes up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because if it goes up and you correct it and go down, oh man, you can't get the nose up in time.
Yeah.
It's heavy. But I just noticed, you know what? The wooden mount, the wooden engine block is where it's mounted is gone. It's gonna have to be cut off.
Oh, you mean the maple beams are?
Yeah. Yep. Right where the bolt holes go.
are they gone mushy or are they just?
Oh, it's mushy. Look at this. It's all soaked with oil, and look at that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that looks a mess.
Yeah, it is. You can see through it.
That's just rotten.
It is. Yeah, I just picked the underneath side of it.
Looks like whoever originally drilled it got the holes wrong, and once you get one of them in the wrong place, one of them's going to go too close to the edge.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this till it's a little, more flat.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna set the motor back a little bit.
Yeah.
I have some room.
You might still be able to use the front hole.
I got some room. I don't have too much room where I can go back with the motor. But I do have a little bit
the rest
of room.
of that tripler off, then you've got enough room for a slant face Sullivan 6-ounce clunk tank.
Yeah.
What's that?
If you cut the rest of that tripler off, that's making it so. Oh, that's just a doubler. I think
there ain't no doubler on
Sullivan 6-ounce clunk tank.
Oh, 6 ounce, right? Yeah, there is no doubler on here. It's just this. It's just this balsa wood.
Okay.
There's
It doesn't
no,
have a 16th inch ply on it. It looks
there's no
like.
ply on either side, dude.
Oh, okay. It looked like it had been carved away for a 16th. So
Yeah. In
that's
fact,
a weird
they stuck in some scrap block.
yeah,
And almost looks like Ambroid. Oh, it's like this whole front end's epoxied.
yeah. Well, you probably got a sturdy structure there if you can make use of it. Yeah, cut the nose off. Maybe even use those two rear holes might still be good.
Oh,
And
they're gone. They're trash.
are they shot too? Okay.
Yeah. I might have to.
You know, Air Blue has those snub tanks. They're really stubby tanks. Won't be as long as the tank you had there, Tom, and you can maybe go back with the engine mounts and still have room for a tank. You get a snub tank. The tanks are used on Flight Streaks and Ringmasters.
That's one right there. That's
Yeah, those flight streaks are really challenged for tank area.
Oh, yeah. I've got
the 5 1/4 right there.
I've got 2 of them tanks.
That's what's on my twister.
Those are
It's like just shy of 4 inches long. So.
Yeah, these guys being novices, or they might not want a long flight anyways.
Yeah, that's where the plastic ones are good because you can see how much fuel's in there, and you can give them half a tank or a third of a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I wanted to, I could modify this tank.
Yeah.
I could bring this feed line right out of here, out the side.
Right.
I could change it. Hey, I picked up some new copper. I picked up some new copper, man. So.
All right.
That'd be kind of neat. They would appreciate it, I think. Thing of it is, it's too late in the night, boy. I'd be making some noise, boy. But I could make quick work of this.
Is that a twister wing?
I'm not sure. Cause look at it. There's 2 spars in it. Kind of a neat looking wing, actually.
2 spars on top.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah, it's not a twister.
Nuh-uh.
No.
There's too many ribs. It's actually a Coyote, but I don't know who makes the kit.
You got a
Nice
couple
plane.
of tanks,
It's got a sharp leading edge.
it sure does.
It's got a washout.
Looks like you got a couple of
It's high on this top side of the wing, and it's low on this bottom side on the inboard wing. It's it's not perfect, but hey, if I get it to flying a little bit decent and got some weight on it, for them guys, I think it'd be a good plane.
If it'll do a loop or two, that's fine.
Oh, I've done the beginner pattern in it. Yeah, you can only do 1 loop. You do any more, you're gonna run out of air. You're gonna hit the ground. It's this nose was so extreme heavy, man. It was like,
Yeah.
It was funny, and I'm like, well, why you guys hand me down these planes? I mean, I'm a beginner. I mean, why would you give me a piece of crap to fly?
Yeah.
Because you're a beginner.
Because you're a beginner, that's why.
People like to think something out other fellow modelers, but sometimes they're putting them back by giving them a model that needs a whole lot of work and bringing it up to par. But I've had a lot of models handed down to me like that over the years.
Yeah,
Some of them.
the guy that built this, he built 9 of them. I don't know which one I got, but I was told it was the best of them all. I see him once a year at the Ringmaster Flyathon, so maybe I'll bring this if it flies decent.
What happened?
I don't know. Who left?
Oh, Tom was just talking to us and then he vanished.
Yeah, he sure
Tom
did.
left. Okay.
We might have had an internet glitch.
Yeah, must have been a glitch.
Here he comes.
Oh, he's coming back.
What
Ah,
happened?
No, we lost you, Tom, mid-sentence.
Did you guys lose me for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
Talk
Everything
out
went blank on my end.
Yeah, the last thing you said, Tom, was that your guy that built it, you see him once a year at the ringmaster thing, and you
Oh,
thought he's going to bring it, and then you got cut off.
yep. Yep. So maybe I'll bring it. Yeah. There we go. Well, that was weird. It was like I lost power for a second.
The light's blinking.
Yeah.
It's the Russians.
Yeah. When Tom asked if he went away for a minute, I saw him looking over his shoulder.
Just Hillary should find out who you voted for.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Who'd I vote for?
Yeah, it's Hillary. Who you voted for? You better pull out your journal and get to work on her.
I ain't getting political. No.
Just stay out of politics.
That's like opening a whole can of worms, man. We start talking about politics.
I'll tell you now. I like to go fishing. Let's do it.
What'd you say?
I like to go fishing. Let's go.
Oh, fishing.
You got the
I
worm?
do like fishing. I like fishing too.
George Gonzalez is back.
Nice and flat. Yeah. What did you
Hey, you remember that? Remember that hurricane that I redid the landing gear on?
Yep.
I flew that
Yeah.
Yesterday. Oh man, shit, man! Thumbs up. Thumbs up on landing gear. The plane even flies different. My flying buddy goes, what do you mean how it flies different? I said, I don't know how to explain it, but it does fly different.
What'd you do?
The landing gear was on the wing, and,
Right.
And the blocks inside broke off.
Right.
So I wasn't going to go tear into that crap. So I just made me some wired landing gear like I did here, like this one.
Okay. All right.
And it's on the fuselage. So it's actually moved, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches forward of where they used to be.
Right.
And I thought, well, I had it on the Vanessa machine before I even took it out. And
Right.
it was right on. Man, it just, I don't know, it flies. It's real gentle. I mean, it does pretty good.
Wow. Maybe the landing. How does it land and take off?
Oh man, takeoff and landings are just like it. It's solid. I mean, it's not like ding,
Right.
ding, it's just like, ooh.
Well, you probably have a better placement than you had before.
Oh yeah, I mean it's solid, man. You don't see the landing gear go back, which the airplane kind of hunts down a little bit, when you land. It just stays right there. So I'm perfect. I'm glad.
Absolutely.
Yep, I was pretty pleased with that.
Gradually, the wing-mounted ones can work loose. The blocks get worn, and the little pivot holes, like on the Sig Mustang that I've got, the landing gear got more and more worn, and you just couldn't get a consistent landing here and a nice smooth landing because they kept moving about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's where
this other hurricane that I'm building, I took the landing gear block that's inside. The plans show it to glue the block on the balsa side of the rib instead of the plywood side of the rib of the doubler. So
Wow.
the block ripped away, the balsa wood ripped away. The balsa wood was still glued to the block.
Right.
So actually, the block needs to be glued to the plywood on the other side of the rib where the plywood is glued.
Yeah.
That's what I did this hurricane that I'm building now. I did that.
Right.
This hurricane that I fixed was already built, but as it was a Brodak a hurricane. But if you look on the plans, it shows you to glue that block on the balsa side of the rib. I think that's wrong.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah, because that balsa wood's a lot softer than that. You know, what's the point of having the block there? You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you laminate balsa, it can be just as strong as plywood. If you have it cross grain and orientate the grain.
Well, no, this is just a regular rib that's got a half rib plywood glued to it. You see, so the grain's going one way, you know, forward and aft of the plane. So it had nothing to do with that, like what you're saying.
Okay.
You know, so I just took the block and put it on the other side where the plywood was.
Right.
It made more sense to me. I mean, a stronger mount.
Yeah.
I thought. But anyway, that flew really well. It just, I don't know how to describe it, but it flies different.
Now they can fly better, it sounds like.
Oh.
That hurt, Jamie.
Was that?
You look like you need to get your masseuse in there to work on your neck a little bit.
Nah, I'm about to get off and go to bed. I only got 2 bays left of shear web. Well, and it's just
You going all the way out to the tip with them?
I'm going out to the second to last bay, so it's gonna be like 2 bays on each end.
I don't need them out there anyway.
Now I already got one side done, and I just tried twisting the wing, and the side that's done don't twist. So,
are you using 32nd plywood, 64th, or what?
Using 1/16 balsa.
Oh, that works just as well as the lighter ply. Probably a little bit lighter too. That's what I used in the shear web, the trail edge of my twister.
In fact, when I first started doing it, I didn't notice it until I got 3 bays in. I didn't put them vertical. I did them horizontal. I'm like, shit. So what I did, I cut some about 3/8 or 1/2 inch 1/64 ply and ran it from top to bottom, top spar, bottom spar, and glued it on.
Just face
the ones that went horizontal.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be. You can tell the difference between when you do it vertical and you do it horizontal. Vertical shear web, when it's on there, it don't move, it don't flex, it don't. Horizontal, it bends. But whenever I glued that 64 light ply, the little strip in the middle of it, knocked it out. No bending, no flexing. Except I only did 3 of them because I wasn't going to cut them out, sand that CA off, and start over. Nah, not on this. No, stunt ship.
That's not worth saving the 1/4 ounce you wasted with a mistake.
Yeah, it's just. And I wasn't going to do this at all, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It's going to hit the ground, so it needs to survive. I wish it'd be weekend at the contest, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm looking forward to building my wing. That's always my favorite part of the build. And I've never built a wing like this either, with the sheeted lead edge like the Cardinal has instead of the big square stick up front.
Oh, okay.
Your first one,
what kind of rig or jig you gonna use?
I don't know. I gave my rod jig to Wayne. I could get that and use it, but it's got suggestions in the book and I know a couple of people that have built Cardinals lately, so I'll take a poll and see what everybody thinks, and see what the book says. The book's hard to understand sometimes. I tend to overcomplicate what I'm reading and don't understand it until I realize, no, dumbass, it's actually simple.
I use a 4-foot straight edge, and I roll it, and I glue the leading edge on first all the way down of the sheeting, and then I use that straight edge to fold the whole thing over all at once, and then I clamp that straight edge to the spar.
Yeah.
With alphabetic, I can never say that glue.
Aliphatic.
Yeah, phatic.
Phatic.
Yeah, phatic. There, I'm just gonna say phatic.
I
Alphabetic.
said it.
Some of that alphabetic glue.
I keep saying alphabet glue. But that's what
Everybody's got some word that just won't come out for them.
yeah, that's right. That's, yep.
I can't think of what mine is right now.
Let's see here. I might have a picture of it just to show you, maybe.
I finally found a sanding block at Lowe's. You know, I was complaining that they didn't make those simple 2-piece plastic snap together clamshells that you put the pre-made, already shaped, already cut piece of paper in between. Because everybody's apparently buying those spongy soft ones, which are good too. But I wanted one of the plastic ones for a solid flat plastic hard bottom. And I ended up finding a new type of plastic one that's got a handle. You squeeze the pins and it snaps up and the clamshell opens about an inch and you can put your paper in there and then slam it back shut. And it looks like it'll work. It even came loaded with paper too. But looks like it'll work. It's not as big. It's not as big as the old one that I wanted to replace while I was little dude.
If you're looking for sanding blocks, there's panel beating supplies.
Gerald, you broke up so bad I couldn't hear anything.
I'll try again. Panel beating supplies. If you can find a panel beating supplies place, they normally have a good selection of blocks for block sanding vehicles. You'll get nice long blocks in all different shapes and sizes. But some of the auto parts stores will sell them as well. A range of sanding blocks that really fit our application well.
That's a good idea. I'll take a look. I got a trip to the auto shop in my near future, so I'll take a look there. One time I saw some at Lowe's that were the soft ones that were about this long, but it wasn't nearly as spongy as the little 4-inch sanding blocks, the spongy sanding blocks. And I almost bought one of those, but I didn't. It was like $10, so I didn't.
For panel beating, you get ones called the longboard. They use for straightening up panels, and they're quite good for doing a whole wing or doing a leading edge. They're quite handy. But I normally go and borrow my shop tools out in the garage that I work on cars. If I need something more exacting, I'll often use the tools out of there. As a inside, I'll use my little sanding blocks. I've got just like little sanding blocks with double-sided tape on them, like those little short ones. And then I've got my other favourite sanding block. I can't remember where it is. Oh, this is another one I like. It's actually got like a tungsten carbide coating on it.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favourite. They're good just for knocking things into shape. So I've got a whole box of different sanding blocks down on the floor with my sandpaper hidden underneath the desk. And
yeah, I got a big old drawer full of sanding supplies just scattered about in random order. But man, I love my sanding tools and make sure I keep track of them. But I'll be damned if I know what happened to my plastic clamshell sanding block. It must have fallen in the garbage can or something. Or now that I bought a new one, I'll probably find it tomorrow.
That's the trick. That's the trick. You buy a new one, and you find your old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that always happens.
That's why when you buy a new one, hang on to your receipt.
Oh, I got a question. You know, I was telling y'all one time a few months back about I knocked over a bottle of acetone and got it all over my brand new electronic caliper, and it fogged over the glass that you read the measurements through, and I got it off in time to where most of it's pretty clear, but one part of it where the fractions show up is still really hard to read. And I know they make stuff for polishing car stuff and motorcycles and headlights even. And I was wondering, do y'all know of anything I might polish that piece of? It's probably some kind of plastic like polycarbonate, something like that.
Try some toothpaste.
Oh, okay. I got some Crest. That's supposed to be one of the most abrasive toothpastes.
Yeah, try that.
Okay. And just, yeah, put it on a rag and rub it in with my thumb and then polish it off. I'll try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might make it worse. That's the only thing if it's too abrasive.
Yeah, if it's too abrasive.
Well, I can barely read through it already, so I guess if I make it any worse, then it'll be where I can't read through it at all. So I'll give it a try. That made me so mad.
Oh, I bet. It's the way it's amazing how acetone does that to polycarbonate, you know? I've seen that effect too. It's like, what is that? Why did it do that?
I think because it evaporates so fast that it gets cold. So if anything changes to 30 degrees, creates moisture. So maybe that's what's causing it.
Acetone sort of plastic though. It's really good at eating off varnish too. I spilt it on the floor in our modelling room. It's got nice varnished curry floor. And, don't want to look too hard at what I've done to the floor just by spilling acetone on it.
Oh yeah.
There's my evil bottle of it there.
There you go. Yeah, I back early on in my adult modeling career, I didn't know much about acetone, and I was working on our 125-year-old dining room table. I poured some acetone in a styrofoam cup. Well, I don't even need to tell the rest of the story.
Oh man!
Wow.
Did you get in trouble?
No, Holly was right there when I did it too, but she worries about that stuff less than I do. She said, "Rusty, it's just stuff, you know." So yeah, it's 125 years old. It was my famous great grandfathers and all that kind of stuff. But you know, shit happens. If it was stored away in a storage shed somewhere, nobody would be enjoying using it anyway. And so if something gets spilled on it and messes it up, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. No. Because it's what amazes me that people store away stuff like they have mint albums that have never been taken out of their plastic wrap vinyl albums, and they don't want to take them out of their vinyl wrap, and they're sold as mint albums. Nobody ever gets the joy of this one.
But that plastic wrap was not meant to stay on them forever, and it shrinks over time, and it'll warp those albums too.
I have to tell my brother that. I'll enjoy that one.
Yeah. Is he one of those people?
Yeah, he's a bit like that. No, he's very fanatical with his models as well. He builds a beautiful model, but sometimes he just doesn't want to fly it unless everything's perfect. And you just think things happen. And for him, he's got the old what do you call it? His eyes are degenerating with a macular degeneration.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so bad. He's worried he's actually going to be able to get to fly before that gets too bad.
Yeah, you better get on it.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a friend who has that, and it's unfortunate he can't fly. It's like a tunnel vision. You can see down the tunnel, but everything outside that tunnel is like a fog.
Oh no. He's got it early. He's still only in his 40s. But yeah, I know older people that have got it, but not somebody as young as my brother. And he's been hoping to buy a Harley Davidson bike, and I suppose it just pushes everything further forward. He's going to have to try and do it quickly before his eyesight deteriorates too much. But that's where you take it with you. You just got to.
You know, I got a lot of shit wrong with me, but I still have my eyes and ears, and I thank God I don't think I could tolerate life if I couldn't see and hear. So I consider myself lucky.
Yeah. My brother Carl likes his music, and he just says, well, even if I lose my vision, as long as I can listen to my music, I'll be happy. But yeah, you don't expect things like that to happen when you're young. And yeah, it's just stuff that happens to you.
Is he older than you? Which one of you is older?
Oh, I'm older than him. He's 4 years younger than me. But yeah, it's not what he expected to happen. But yeah, you just got to enjoy life while you can and build those models, put them on the building board and get them happening.
Woohoo!
Probably going to be around in a few minutes, and I'll have to run away and make sure the boys are off the bus safely, and give them some afternoon tea, and want us to drop out for a few minutes.
Alrighty.
Okay, so their school, how long ago did school start for them?
Oh, they start school at 8:30 and it runs up till 2:30, and it takes an hour for the bus to get home.
Are y'all on a summer, winter school on and vacation off plan, or do y'all do quarterly, or what's the
It's
schedule?
sort of they have like quarterly 4 terms in a year, and then breaks of 2 or 3 weeks between terms.
Yeah.
So they've just gone back after their first break for the year, and they're getting back into it now. But at least they've got a school bus that drops them at home. I don't have to pick them up. That's great. It saves a whole lot of time. Otherwise, I'd be rushing off down there now to pick them up.
When my son was little, and we used to go to the meetings and talk about the school schedules versus parents' vacation schedules, that sort of thing. We discussed doing 45 days on, 45 days off all year, all the time. And it was hands down rejected. And I don't understand why. It seems like it would be so much easier to plan life around that instead of the way we do it is September to September through May, and then we're off for 3 months in the summer, June, July, August, and you know, that dates back to when it was too hot to go to school in the summertime around here, and it was also you know, farm driven too, agricultural driven, but we're not an agrarian society anymore, and so I never understood why that 45 on, 45 days off didn't work. It seemed like it made terribly good sense.
You know, we had a similar system where we used to have a long break over the Christmas break and New Year, where it was the harvest time, and they coincided with that. But that time shrunk now. We're in a similar position where it's not all just farming anymore. Very few people really do farm anymore, and they don't expect 10 or 12-year-olds to bring in the harvest either. So yeah, it's changed. It's quite funny when you look at a lot of these places where they say a young kid shouldn't be starting their own model airplane engine. It should be electric started. They've got to protect them from those dangerous propellers. And
yeah, it's funny to me too. Yeah, well, when our kids ride bicycles, they are adorned with all kinds of padding, helmet, and elbow shins, and guards, and all kinds of guards. It's like, wow, I just rode a bicycle. I didn't have anything on when I rode a bike when I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember that. But now they're not. Our kids aren't even allowed to take a bike to school. It's all crazy. Anyway, I'll be back soon.
All righty.
That's absurd. That was our main modes of transportation. The schools were all close enough to the house so you could ride your bike.
Yeah, I know.
Long racks of, bike.
Long racks of bikes. Everybody had locks, and they would put the chains to their tires and wheels and lock it up. And now, if you had a nice bike, if you didn't have a nice bike, you probably didn't even need to lock it up.
Yeah. We used to all laugh at the geeky girl that had the fat tire bicycle.
Oh yeah,
Murray that made the big fat tire bicycles, and that was weird to us.
I think we call those beachcombers out here now.
Hey, Wally.
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
We're pretty good.
Doing
How
well.
you doing this
Hey,
evening?
Wally.
Hey, good. Good to see everybody.
Yeah. What you been up to?
Well, done some model building, done a little flying, doing a lot of parts.
All right.
Yeah.
I did some flying yesterday, Wally.
Oh, sweet, Tom.
Yeah. Yep. Wasn't
Not
very
a
good
treat.
flight. My buddy, my flying buddy, yeah, man, he brought one up, and yeah, he was doing a square loop, and something gave away right at the turn 4, and it just went in full bore straight down, and it just poof.
Not good. Did you ever figure out what the deal was?
Huh?
Did you ever figure out what the deal was?
No, not yet. I went through it. To me, it looks like the 440 thread snapped.
Wow.
On what 440 you talking
rod,
about?
on the elevator push rod.
Oh, okay.
But
Not quickly.
Wally says hello, Wally, from YouTube.
Who?
George Gonzalez. I believe he's in Colombia.
Hey guys. Right on.
Jorge Gonzalez.
Oh, hey, yeah, baby.
So Tom, what happened? You lost an airplane?
I don't know. My Ricky did, my flying buddy.
Oh,
But yeah. What's sad is he won first place beginners at the Nats 2 years ago with it, and he was going to retire, and hang it up, but doggone it. I mean, there isn't even a tail left.
That's a bummer.
I mean, this thing freaking disintegrated.
Good night, Daryl. Thanks for coming in.
So is it a 60 size ship or 40
No,
or what?
it was a Brodak RP40.
Oh, okay. Oh, that
nice
sucks.
plane. It's a
Yeah.
really good flying plane. That's
Yeah,
it lands,
gas,
takes off really nice.
glow motor.
Yeah, my son's got one. He wants me to put it together.
They fly really nice.
so the elevator.
Yeah, I think the 440 rod that glues into the fiber, carbon fiber. I think that's where it snapped, because I seen it. He didn't see anything, but I was watching, and I seen it do a funny like this, and boom, straight in.
Wow.
The tail went like this real quick, and for like this, then stopped, and it just went straight in.
Wow.
At least he had a witness that it wasn't operator error.
Yeah, really.
That's what I told him. I said, that's all right, dude. I said, I know it wasn't your fault. That wasn't your fault at all. I just felt bad because it was a nice looking plane.
Yeah, that's always disappointing when you crash one that's got a fond history.
Yeah.
I can't believe, with all of the carnage from all the planes I've built and flown, that my shoestring is still hanging in the shop just as pretty as ever. And I take it out once every year or so and fly it.
All right.
There was a guy that I seen post the other day. He posted an airplane, and it was an SV-22, and I was like, "Wow, this is a nice plane." And he says, "Well, I decided to take it out and fly today. It's 24 years old this year."
Wow.
And it looked like he just built it.
Yeah. Obviously, it was painted, right?
Huh?
Is it painted?
Yeah. He painted it. He built it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a really nice plane for 24 years old.
Yeah.
So
I have
you got it out
I have a friend who was a Lark, and it's 22 years, and it looks better than most planes I've seen.
Yeah.
So,
But this guy here, he's a pretty good model builder, and he's been flying a lot of gnats and stuff. He's from Canada. Daryl, I don't know. He used to come online. Hogs and Planes.
Yeah, he's been on tonight. He just signed off a minute ago.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I seen him in
up there with him.
he's on the
okay.
chat side, huh?
Hey, Rusty, I was going to tell you on your caliper lens, what you can do is you can sand that off with some like 1,000 grit sandpaper.
Yeah.
And then go to 2,000 and then try 3,000. And then when it looks good, then what you can do, you take it out and dip it in. Oh shit, I can't remember the name of it now.
It's that floor cleaner and floor wax.
Yeah, it's what the heck they call that stuff you put on your vinyl floors.
Right. Yeah. Mop and glow.
Well, it's kind of like the same stuff. Oh my gosh, I use it all the time, and I got some in my basement.
Not pledge or indust, is it?
Well, you're gonna have to go to the basement. You're gonna have to go look and see what that is.
Crap! I gotta go for a walk now. I'll be
You
back.
gotta go for a walk.
This is gonna drive
all
me
night
crazy. Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy anyway. Until there's something else I was gonna get down there and show you too, and I forgot what that was already.
Well, wait till you remember what it was.
Yeah, I'll probably walk by it and see it. But yeah, I'll go get it and show it to you.
Okay.
It's future. I don't have to go down there now. It's future.
Dip
it in future, and then it'll look a little better. You dip it when it's dry again. By the time you do it your third time, that thing will look like it's brand new. If it's plastic, it'll look brand new.
I can't actually dunk it, but I guess I could.
You dunk it. Oh, you can't take it out of your caliper, huh?
No, I'm not taking it apart.
Well, what you might do is try to brush it. Brush it usually leaves streaks, but you might try it. Might be better.
I'll do like I do with clear polyurethane. I'll just dab it on with a t-shirt rag.
Yeah, try that. And when it's dry, let it dry all the way, and then do it. Sometimes it'll take 2 or 3 applications. Each application usually gets a little better, and that should help it a lot.
All right.
I mean, I do plastics all the time. In fact, I don't know if you can see it back here, but if I can get I lost my camera now all the way.
Yeah, you did.
I'm looking for an excuse to buy some high-end grit sandpapers. I got 1,000, but I was looking at Walmart in the auto section, and they've got 2, 3, 4, up to 6,000 grit paper.
Yep.
I bet it's.
Well, there's a jet right there. It's 1/18 scale Harrier. It's 32 inches long.
Hey, I gotta see that. I used to work on that.
You gonna walk all the way to Idaho?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, Tom.
Hang on, here I come.
I'll bring it over here closer so you can get a better look. Need to look at my dog.
I got your screen clicked on, Wally.
Where'd you go?
I don't know.
Well, hey, Rusty, I picked up some I guess they're like a little combat, just
hey. Looks like a baby Crusader.
Yeah, it's basically, yep. And this will take a regular 049 Cox 049.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like.
Fine. But now I got 2 other ones, and I don't know. This is, I don't know if you can, it's not square. It's
Yeah. Cox is not square. The Cox back plates aren't square. Now the tanks might be. I can't really remember, but the plastic back plates on Cox's for the non-tanked engines is not square. So,
Yeah, they're rectangle.
Yeah, you can put one of them on, put your gas tank on there.
Well,
here you go, Tom. I don't know what we're seeing here. Oh, there we go. I just put the body together last night to check it out.
I've helped
pretty awesome.
I've helped remove and install engines on these things.
On the Harriers, really?
Yeah, it's a very quite ordeal, and it's very heavily secured area. It's roped off. You got to go through a secure deal with your pockets. You actually have to wear the clothing that they give you, which is Velcro, no pockets, and it's a white coveralls. Because if you drop one thing, you got to remove the wing to get even to the motor. Yeah, it's a pretty big ordeal. Gosh, how many hours did it take? 26 hours, something like that.
How many people?
Oh, it's a crew off, with the wing on and off. That's a crew of about 7. Yeah, it's a pretty big ordeal. But boy, I tell you what, they are a neat airplane.
Yeah, they sure are.
Engine's built in England. It's a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Rolls Royce Pegasus. Yeah, I didn't know for the longest time, but the front 2 nozzles, all they were was fans. It's just air coming out of there.
Yeah.
All your thrust comes out of the back 2 nozzles.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if that's completely true.
It is.
Oh gosh, how many nozzles on the thing? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, there's a whole bunch of little ones. They're all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
But at least 90% of your thrust is coming out of them back 2 nozzles.
It's all bleed air. It's out of the bleed air system.
Looks like Uncle Terry's joining us. We don't have his camera yet, though.
Cool. Well, Steve, back to you on your airplanes. Show us them babies again.
What it is,
click on you here.
This pattern is different than a Cox 049. It's way different. I don't understand.
Which Cox 049 are you talking about, though? Because there are a bunch of different patterns, too.
Well, like a baby bee or a...
with a built-on tank, integral tank, yeah.
Right, because there's no place to put a tank on this thing.
Well,
now I'm with you. Yeah.
Here's like the baby bee.
Yeah.
This pattern is way wider than what a baby bee is.
It might fit the product engine back plates, but
yeah,
if you did that, of course, you'd have to put a tank on it. But you could make a balloon tank or something for it. It would sit on top of the wing or under the wing. It'd be all right.
These were flown, so it's like you can't really fly it without a tank.
Well, I'm wondering if they actually used the Cox engine.
Yeah,
they could have used the testers or something like that.
Yeah, I have no idea what. I guess I could pull a lot of different.
What you got there, Tom? Oh, that's a Norvell.
Yeah, and it's got but the tank, it's not rectangle like that. But Steve, something maybe like this little outfit.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking too, and I'm like,
could be. Yeah,
I've still got Charles's tank sitting right here in this box.
All right, Rusty, I'm glad to hear you haven't forgotten.
Yeah,
hey, where did you get a hold of that tank, Tom?
I got Steve's engine in the box, which I drove all the way to Huntersville without taking him. I got Jim's damn needle valve in here, and let's see. Oh yeah, there's your tank. I could not find my new one. I must have given it to somebody else, but the one I've got here, if I ever get it to you, Charles, is in good shape. It's just not brand new. But
All
anyway.
right.
Have you flown your K-77 anymore?
You know, Terry, I mean, Steve, I've gotten so frustrated. I actually pulled it out and replaced it Friday I put the Stalker 81 back in there. And then I went to the contest with the Stalker, and I wasn't really even set up. I didn't know how much fuel I needed, or just a totally different setup than I had than I had before. But yeah, I've kind of given up on the K-77. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I just can't get consistent runs. It's crazy.
Hey, Terry.
Yo, Tom, baby.
Hey, Ding Hao.
Terry,
Hey,
baby.
Terry.
How you guys doing?
We're
Doing
good.
well. How are you, man?
How you doing?
Hey, Steve,
Doing good.
how thick was that plywood on that faceplate on that engine? Could you fill those holes with some epoxy and just go ahead and drill you new mounting holes?
What's really crazy is that there's like a piece of wood on there, and there's actually blind nuts holding on another piece of wood, and I have no idea what.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so you could change the thrust angle. Probably had a haze mount on there also, maybe. You can run a little haze mount, one of those glass mounts for a beam motor, or you use the tank mounted motor, and that allows you to change the thrust angle, your outward thrust on the motor.
Okay, so did they make like a haze tank? Because it's been flown, but it's like the motor had to have some kind of tank on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that too. It had to have a tank.
Oh,
That's why I'm
absolutely.
wondering maybe if it would have been a testers or something like that, something besides a Cox.
Yeah, the one with the integrated tank that was molded in red. That was a Testers, wasn't it? Yeah.
They had a black one too, I think it was. I can't remember. Yeah, they did definitely have a red one.
Yeah, I think I got one around here somewhere.
Steve, you might want to wiggle your microphone plug or something. You're pretty crackly, like you got a bad mic connection.
I'm breaking up?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, it's either your microphone or you got to cut back on your smoking.
Yeah. And your mic sounds kind of bad too, Terry.
Oh, really? This is a wireless. My other one is shorted.
Where did Tom end up?
Is that any better?
About the same.
I don't know where Tom went.
I was going to see where he got that tank.
I don't know. Maybe his power blinked again. We lost him a while ago for a minute when his power blinked.
We lost Steve here for a second too.
Yeah, it was hard to get in. It crashed a couple times, so I filled out one of those crash reports.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah,
that's way better. Yeah, that's way good.
I just unplugged it, the mic and camera, and plugged it back in.
Yeah, it's perfect now.
That was a fix.
Who knows what goes on there?
So, Wally, what do you got for show and tell?
Well, I was going to show you guys a while back. We talked about this engine. That's my Enya 45. It's the second 45. It's a 6002 model. And that's one of the lightest 45s in a ball bearing you'll ever come across. And I think I was only like 12 ounces with the muffler on there. So it's got this big old meat eater for a Venturi.
Yeah.
And
yes,
well, I think it's a runner. I'll tell you that, man. It runs. And then I got, let me show you some more stuff. This is my new bearings for my Evolution 46. That's stainless steel races. That's a rear. This one's the front with ceramic balls.
Very cool. Is that from a book of bearings or from where?
This one's not, but the rear one is. But when it comes down to it, I'm sure this one actually came from Boca too.
Now, are you gonna pry the seals off of the back side of that front bearing?
Nope. The front one's going to be sealed both sides, and the rear one, both front and back, will be pulled off.
Okay.
So that's why you run that engine. And then I have got parts galore. Intakes, Venturis, O-ring sets, intake, well, I can't forget what they call them. They're now my mind's gone blank.
What, the Venturi gas?
Venturi nipples. There's, let me go through them. There's the high-speed needle spring. If I get my camera down here to where it'll work. There's O-rings, screw sets. Where'd it go? Screw sets.
All right. These are all for the same 45?
They're for 45 and a 36. And let's see, here's some. These are head gaskets for 46. Now that will fit either the Magnum or the Evolution.
I have a Enya 40, two Enya 40s.
Yeah, Enya 40 is a whole complete different ball game from what I have here in this box. But yeah, I got a lot of parts. They're easy to come by. And my head on my Evolution 46 will be Cerakoted tomorrow, purple. And then when I get out there in the next couple of days, I'll do the case. Well, actually, he's doing the drive plate and the head. And when I get out there, I'll do the case and the muffler in a different color. They'll be more of an aluminum color. That thing's gonna be super, super sweet when I'm got it back together. It's gonna be a runner. And it's lost some weight because I took a lot of weight off the cylinder and the head. So it's going to be good. It'll be a good, strong engine.
What is Cerakoting?
Cerakote is a coating it's a ceramic base. And what you do is you have to sandblast whatever it is you're going to spray. And you can spray with the spray gun or you can do an airbrush. It depends on how much paint you're going to spray and what you want to do. And then what you do is you have to, when you get your paint on there, then you have to bake it. It's a baked on process. Like steel, we do at 300 for an hour. Plastics and polymers, you do 200 for a couple hours. Now, the majority of what's done on Cerakote, you see, is on guns, but there's a lot of crossover now going into automobiles. I did some last week that we took down to the Supercross race because my son's a Supercross technician, and we installed those. Actually, he installed those on 2 race bikes last Friday, and then they raced Saturday. And then Saturday evening, we loaded up 2 race bikes, brought them back. He's got a shop up here that he specializes in engine rebuilding and suspensions. And he's got guys from all over the Northwest over here coming to him for work. Plus, he's got a dyno. He'll put those bikes on a dyno, and he'll tune them to where they're right at the max they can put out. And then he gets a readout and gives them to the customer so they know exactly what their engines are doing. And it does your horsepower, your torque, your power curves, all that stuff. And anyway, they get all that information and it's really a neat thing, doing these bikes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd love to have a resource like that back when I was in my hot ride days, because I, needless to say, never had a dyno in my carport. But
yeah, you know, and then that's what's cool about a dyno. When you put a car, whatever it is you want a dyno, like his is only set up for dirt bike, but he can get an attachment for it later that will go wider to where he can do the side by sides and four wheeler stuff like that. He did a Harley Davidson in there one night last week. But then you know exactly what your motorcycle or whatever it is you want to find out what power you got. It's got.
I guess
just like your race car.
With big powerful fans that blow to simulate airflow through the intake and all that stuff, and then you program what would be wind and road resistance into the rollers that the wheels sat on, I suppose, depending on whether you're testing off the drive shaft or testing off the flywheel or testing off the wheels.
Yeah, he tests off the tire. What on a dirt bike, you have to change your rear wheel there and put on a wheel that has a road bike tire on it that's smooth to run on the drum. And then like you say, he's got a fresh air vent that brings in fresh air from outside. And then you take the exhaust and you run it through a fan back outside.
Yeah.
So you're always circulating air. Then it's got two great big fans that you can point towards the engine.
Yeah.
So you turn them on and the engine stays cool with those, because you're running these things on a load
through the intake and all that.
Yeah, you're running a big load on them things. So you want to keep your bike as cool as you can. And even though these are water cooled bikes, well, most of them that he's put on there, the Harley isn't, but there's a few of them he's had that are air cooled, but the majority of what he's doing are all water cooled machines.
Yeah, but they're still designed to account for air cooling, air blowing over it too, in combination with the fluid cooling.
Well, it's got everything. It'll do your ignition mapping. It does your exhaust metering for your fuel burn. I mean, your oxygen, and just like a car does. It's really a cool setup, man. Neat stuff. Maybe one day we can do it on an airplane. They already do it, but they're on the real things. But Terry, you did one last week on a torque test, didn't you?
Yep. We did it on a thrust test.
Thrust test.
Yeah, with Steve's device, and he has it for his jets because he does the Bob Violet RC jets. And the little 15, the Fox 15, I was surprised turned out 26 ounces of thrust from a 15.
Wow, that's a lot of thrust.
That's a little
Seriously.
Fox 15.
Fox 15.
Stunt engine. A used one at that, right?
Hey, yes. And if we're talking about motors, you guys keep spreading this nasty rumor about the Evolution 36 motor, that it doesn't run, it's a piece of crap, you got to own a machine shop to get it to work. You guys, I don't know who told you this, but they should be horsewhipped because it's total BS.
You know,
those motors run great.
That's funny because you know what? Look what's right here.
There you go.
An Evolution 36. Now, this is my son's.
What did you notice about the needle, Wally? What can you do if you get it and you try to crank the needle? What have you done?
I haven't done nothing, but
but if you get that motor and you try to crank that needle like a normal needle, what have you done?
Well, you screw it up, because here's what
broke
happens.
Broke it.
If the people read their directions, this is
But
what
we
it
don't.
says. Let me show you what it says right here. It's simple. It's just simple as can be. If I can find it here, it says. Let me go into this and read you this real quick. Just take me a minute. It says needle limiters in most conditions with changes in flying field altitudes, changes in temperature, etc. It will be necessary to adjust the needle valve. The needle has a limiter to restrict the movement to just under 1 full turn. More than enough range for most conditions. If your engine starts from above procedure but won't reliably continue to run with the glow driver removed, follow the steps above right. Okay, above right. Needle right, set right needle valve. Okay, here we go. This is easy, and this is what everybody should read in their directions. The design of the set right needle valve system is such that during normal operation conditions, the typical user will find that the normal range of adjustment allowed by the system is more than adequate for most situations. As a matter of fact, we intended this to be used as a tool to identify operating problems. If you find that the range of adjustment allowed by the set right needle is inadequate after your initial period of running, then a problem in your engine system has occurred. This might be a bad glow plug, dirty fuel, old fuel, air leaks in the fuel system somewhere, or any number of other reasons. Do not make any permanent adjustments, range changes to the set right needle system if it was once working correctly for you and now does not. Investigate other problems first. However, occasionally, due to atmospheric, altitude, or fuel conditions, you may find that the range of the adjustment built into the set right needle valve system is inadequate for your needs. These conditions are rare and easy to fix. Now, this is how they say to fix it. The correction. Should the set right needle valve need to be adjusted outside of the factory established parameters, simply pull out the detent spring on the high-speed needle assembly and move the needle valve to the desired direction so the set right pin passes the spring detent. Now you have reestablished a new range for your purposes. We have found that if you rotate the blue collar that locks down the needle clip so that the set screw is located adjacent to the actual clip itself, this will easily increase the tension on the needle clip and hold the needle in place more securely. So if you're running too rich, you pull the clip out, you turn your needle in a half turn, put your spring clip back on, and now you've got almost a turn in there that you can lean out your engine if you need to, and that's more than enough to set your engine where you want it now. And the same thing, if it's lean, you can go the other direction, but you can't force the needle to go over the spring or you ruin the spring. It's simple. All you got to do is you just read the directions.
To have to readjust it. If you get the thing, like in the PT-19, I put together a dozen of those for all the old guys like 10 years ago that were flying around here. And my buddy Steve just found one at a swap meet. $20 in a crashed plane. He ended up getting the whole thing. The motor runs perfectly.
Well,
if you have an altitude problem, like you live in Tibet or something, you may have to change the factory settings.
Yeah, well, I'll run this on the bench, and it's going to be maybe even tomorrow, and I've got a couple others I'm going to run. I'll give you a report Friday on what I find.
There you go.
If it's set up just like that, or if I do have to change it. But the thing is, it's easy to change if you read your directions and find out what you have to do to do it, instead of ruining the engine.
Well, see, most guys rip that needle valve off and they replace it with a front needle valve, and then none of those Venturis will work. None will work. You've got to use the set right needle valve, leave it in the rear of the engine. That way your hands are clear of the engine, And no more finger stripes, right, Gerald? Or hand stripes.
This is what the only thing I
No
don't
meat
like.
cleaving allowed.
The only thing I don't like on this engine is the pinch bar here to hold the Venturi in is a 2-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like the 1-piece that goes in there, and then you put your Venturi in, and then you tighten it up with the nut on one end, and you're done. This one here clamps from both directions. I really like the 1-piece better, but there's no reason why this can't do the job. I mean, they've sold enough of these that sure must be working. I could have sold 2 of these
is that you put
the other day.
in that, and it tightens up and real easy. You don't got to. You don't have to get a little socket or whatever. Really, that pinch method's a lot better.
I like the pinch method too, Steve.
I like the nut, but that's like I say, that's preference.
If you
You're
want
always a nut, and that's okay. We love it.
What's that, Steve?
I said, if you want to make that motor a front needle valve, you just get a FP20 or a 25 or whatever, a carburetor. You screw the needle valve out of that carburetor, and you can screw it right into that Venturi, and it works just dandy. It works just like.
Well, I'll give you a report Friday and let you know how I come out. The thing that surprised me, this little engine's a powerhouse. It says you can run an 11.45, an 11 diameter pitch or 11 diameter prop with a 4.5 pitch, which is pretty good for a 36.
And the other thing is don't run over 20% oil in it.
Well, they say that you need to run. What was it in here?
They want no caster.
Yeah, they said the best
like cool power and stuff runs good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm using right now.
They said the best thing is 5 to 10% fuel. And
it
it says
10 cool power. It works fine here in Florida.
Yeah,
your brake
if you put a lot of oil in it, that motor doesn't run that great.
Your brake end's about 92 to 9,500 RPM. So yeah, it says you can run 11.4, 11.5, 2-blade prop on there, no problem. 62 foot lines, not a problem.
It will vibrate until it's broken, and I think it's because the pinch in the piston cylinder is so tight.
It's tight. It's real tight at the top.
It's got a real tight setup.
Yeah, and once it breaks in, the vibration goes away, and it really runs good. The one thing is, it likes fuel.
Well, you should be able to change that a little bit on your Venturi setup.
Yeah, you can. I started playing with the Venturis, not on a plane, but just on the test stand, and makes a big difference. And the thrust isn't that much difference, but there's no way to check a brake or anything until you put it in a plane.
Well, I'm going to do some checking on that on the brake in, and I'll run my RPM meter on it and see how it changes it and stuff.
Yeah, they pop right out.
So,
yeah, we had a guy. I let him fly my ARF Nobler with one of them in there.
Oh, huh?
Never flew it before, and he ended up second at the Nats with it.
Wow. And those ARF Noblers are a bit heavy for a Nobler.
It came out, I had to add a little tail weight to it. But,
even with this, huh? Yeah, it is a little heavy. I can't remember what it was.
Well, no, it's not that.
I got it here.
I got it wrote downstairs. I don't have it with me, but
I got mine with me. It weighs
a Nobler was meant to balance
10.6 ounces with a prop.
Yeah, Fox 35. Yep.
Everything weighs more than a Fox 35 except a Brodak 40. And
or another Fox 35.
7.8 ounces on the Brodak 40.
What is it?
7.8 on the Brodak 40.
That's now, probably the 40 on the
Evolution 36 with 11.4 prop and a Dubro spinner is 10.6 ounces.
Yeah.
That's with prop and a tongue muffler, the included tongue muffler.
Right. So in a Nobler, like I put it in, that plane wasn't really made for it. It wasn't balanced that but I added, I think, a half an ounce to the tail, and the thing flies great. But I even tried to put a Brodak 40 in it. I put an Inya 30 in it. They're fine until you add a muffler, and you still then have to add just a teeny bit of tail weight because that was flown with a Fox 35 with no muffler on it.
Yeah, well, look at all the airplanes that are out there that are designed with Fox 35s. There's zillions of them. Seems like everything you get seems like it's got a Fox 35 on your prints.
Right.
I mean, Brodak's got a lot of models that they look at the prints. It's a Fox 35.
And you're not going to balance it if it's an original. It passes classic or old time or whatever. They're not going to balance with these new motors because it was designed for the Fox 35 but no muffler.
Yeah, you got to put some tail weight in them.
Yep. Well, I got that that Brodak 40 in my old Nobler, and that's a Geetsy green box.
Yeah.
And I told Charles, I mean, you know, and I thought that motor was broken in. It's just getting better.
Oh yeah.
It is just getting better. Now I'm running not a pantyhose over it because I fly off grass here in Florida, and there's sand in the grass and everything.
Yeah.
I use the green fishnet that you get at like Walmart or PetSmart because I keep tropical fish. It's almost like a house screen size because we don't want the leaning out. I just need it to filter the grass and the junk from being sucked in.
Well, as that motor breaks in, you're going to want to lean it out some.
Oh, sure.
I was arguing with my brother about that today because he's going to try different props and all that kind of stuff. And I told him, I said,
just add a pantyhose or just start layering them on. And
either
their Venturi is grooved, so the little rubber bands hold perfect.
That, or you got to put a smaller Venturi on it. I took a 25 Venturi and drilled it out.
Yeah.
And the engine came right back to life, but 300 and some thousandths is too big. There ain't, I mean, that's a 60 size.
Yeah, let's see. They got the size on here on the smallest one. 224 is the smallest one.
For the Brodak?
No, this
one
that's
here on the Evolution.
That's
the Evolution.
That's 224 with no bar across it.
Right.
So if you figure, you know, I had that chart that figured that. That's actually pretty big. That'd be like, I think, a 290 something with a bar across it or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you don't crowd up anything in that Venturi.
Yeah, to be like the same thing as this size right here, where it's only taking up the one side. You know, back to the balancing. Now I've got a Sig Super Chipmunk. I built my first one, and I had to put a bunch of weight in the tail to balance it. But I got another one I'm building in my basement right now. What I did was I moved the firewall back a half an inch so I could move the engine back. And that half inch, I'm hoping, will keep me from having to add weight to the tail. And it should make enough difference to work.
Yeah, it should.
Well, a lot of these models, too, that are built for a Fox 35, the front end is so short on them.
Yeah, and that's it. You have a hard time. Yeah, you have a hard time getting a gas tank in there. That's why this one I got now, I had to make a gas tank for it. This one, like I made, it's a copy of Al Raby's that he put in his Bearcat. You know, it's a kind of a oblong, well, it's a rectangle tank, and it's not quite, it's 3.5 inches long. But when I got done with the clunk in there moving around, it will hold over 4 ounces of fuel. So it's going to have plenty of fuel, you know.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple guys now with these Tom Dixon profile vectors. Them things really fly good. And it balances with a 40, you know, 45, 47, you know.
Is that a foam wing tip?
The damn airplane balances out. You ain't no tail weight and stuff like that because it's made for, you know, and if you like a profile, I mean, them things really fly good.
So is it a foam wing or a built-up wing?
Yeah, it's a foam covered wing.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you got to build the fuselage. But the fuselage is all cut to where you can glue it together in like 2 minutes. You know,
Wow.
I mean, it's really simple to do, and then you put your bell crank and stuff in it, and it's BOM legal and everything else. But if you want a profile, it's fast to build. The one guy, he had the whole thing together and the wing in it in 1 day.
Wow. Are they putting the landing gear on the body?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be a lot bigger, faster way to build it.
But I mean, you know, it just balances right. You know, it's a lot easier
Well,
than
it's all about the balance. If you don't have to, you know, the Top Flight P-47, I'm on my third one building, and when you use the Sato 3-cylinder 60, you don't need to put the lead in the tail. If you use the DME or one of those other engines, mountain or desert aircraft motors, yeah, you got to put lead in the tail.
Right.
So I'd much rather have a motor up front than lead in the tail.
Yeah.
Plus, you got that great sound.
Yeah, and it, you know, it makes for a better flying airplane when you don't have all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
They look and sound very nice, Jerry. Look at your videos.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was Tom's plane. He's a friend of mine from Kenosha, Wisconsin, fellow cheesehead. So here's what comes out of an evil stressed brain. Now I've upgraded the Super Voodoo 3 to a 61, and I'm putting a throttle body on it. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I can see it.
Yeah,
So it's a 50-inch Voodoo. It'll have a 2-channel radio. We originally were planning the 46AX in there, and it's a great motor, OS. But it weighs the same as the Brodak Avastar 61.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Avastar is lighter because it's the same. The Avastar, I'm running that on a 12/8 master air screw plastic prop, and they're heavy. And the motor's lighter than the OS 46AX.
Yeah, the AX is a heavy engine. That AX series could use a weight reduction big time for doing what we're doing, you know, control line stuff.
What I found is that the Evolution 60, not the 61, but the 60. It weighs the same as the or less than the Evolution 46.
Is it a bushing engine, Steve?
No, it's ball bearing. All they did was
bearing?
They took the 46 and put a 60 size sleeve in it.
Oh, yeah, I took my 46 and I ground a whole bunch of aluminum off of that thing, off the head and off the case, and it made a big difference. And once I get it all Cerakoted and get it together, I'll show you guys. It's going to be sweet. It'll be a good engine. It'll run smooth too with them ball bearings in there, them ceramics.
Yeah, they make a big difference.
You know, that's like I always did I got a test prop. It's a APC 10.6 that I've had for years, and I only use it to bench run motors and see what, you know, how they run. But, like the Evolution 36 there, that thing will run up with a 40 and everything. But the Evolution 40 is the fastest RPM wise of any 40 motor I've ever tried.
Wow.
OPS, Rossies, Super Tigers, all that kind of stuff. That little 40 Evolution will turn over 16,000 RPM with that 10.6 prop on it.
Unreal.
Well, that's scooting. Yeah, I mean, that's
been around.
Man, oh man.
Are they new?
I don't know if that's the only one. My brother bought it, but the best I ever had with that prop, and I'm not You know, it's like what the true pitch of it is or anything else. But the best I ever got besides that was on an OPS 40 that I could get 15.8 out of.
Wow.
You know, and I think the Super Tiger 40 we got 14.
Not to interrupt, but I was listening before. The G in the Super Tiger stands for glow.
Oh.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. I'm a wealth of useless knowledge.
A cesspool of knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that stood for like Guizmo or whatever they put on the box.
Well, that's the that's where that was one of the parent guys, I think, from, you know, it's like OPS built some great marine engines, and then Pico came out.
Right.
And I've got a couple Picos. I've got a Pico 90 and an outrigger that is just insane.
Those Picos
40% nitro.
Yeah, Pico is the P in OPS.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that Gizmo thing is that too, but I was told that the G stood for glow fuel.
Pico was originally built for cars, wasn't it? For racing RC cars?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
airplane and marine motors, but they possibly did car motors because I think they did the whole gamut.
I think Pico, only thing they make anymore is car motors, but in the 80s and stuff like that, I mean, Pico we were running them in pattern ships and stuff, and they were
absolutely
head to head with Rossi and Super Tiger and OS, and you know, in the pattern ships.
But then you look, Steve, and you look at the difference between, say, for instance, your 40s you're testing. You know, you've got a little 40 in a Evolution, and it's running, you know, 15, 16,000. And you run these other ones and they're not quite up to it, but yet they're twice the money, you know. And that's the thing about OS. I love OS engines, but you pay out the nose for those things.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah,
let me ask you about Evolution, since we've been mentioning them so much tonight. Is how new is Evolution on the market? Is that a relatively new entry into the market, or has it been around a while?
I think it's been around about 10 years, maybe, or longer.
Yeah, it seems like it.
All it is a Magnum or a ASP. Same manufacturer, except it's manufactured to Horizon standard, what they want on things.
And I'll tell you what, my boys are running some Magnums, and them things run every bit as good as the OS engines. I mean, they're copycats, and they work great.
I got a Magnum 53 that is just absolutely scary on a 10.
I've got two of them. Well, actually, I've got one of my sons got one. His is brand new. Mine's rebuilt, and it's got ceramic bearings in it. But I just ordered tonight, believe it or not, for $94.95, a Magnum XL 75 tonight off eBay. I just ordered for my son. I talked to him about it. I said, "What do you think?" And he says, "Get it. I'm putting it in the Magnum." Okay. Or not the Magnum, but he's putting it in the Strega.
How much did you have to get for it?
$94.95.
And you got to convert it to control line?
That's easy.
Oh. Well, I was going to say, if you go to Hobby Parts, they got the ASP 75, which is identical. The XL ASPs. That's $75. They got it. They're closing them out.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I'm going to make a tongue muffler for this thing when we get it, and we'll throw it in either that Magnum or the one I'm going to build, and then we'll run that. I was going to run a tunnel pipe in mine, but off of a 60 from 61, the VMAX OS, but I think I'm just going to set it up to where we can change the engine from one Strega to the other.
Yeah, I almost bought a
run it
Strega
that-
this weekend, but it's set up for a 72 four-stroke that oh shit, I can't think of the name of the
Sato 72.
Sato, yeah, Sato 72.
Well, my son's Strega is an ARF, but the one I got's a kit. So I'm going to do some things and lose about 8 ounces off of mine,
Oh,
and then
easy.
we'll see how it works out. Yeah, it's going to be.
Charles,
I'm sure
you need to
at
build
least
a new
8
Strega,
ounces.
Charles. You need to build a Strega and dump that Chinese crap. You've got all you can get out of it. You need to start with a Strega in the box. We will help you save weight on that thing. I've got one in the box, so does Wally. We'll do a group build. We'll get you a winning ship. You're a winning pilot, but you're flying a Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my son's Strega, he's got an OS 61. It's the SR, which is one of the heavier OS engines that they made. It's a hell of a strong engine, but it's heavy. But that thing weighs 78 ounces
Way too
without a
much.
drop of fuel.
Way
But I'll
too
tell you
much.
what, that airplane, that engine, well, he can run overhead 8s all day long, and it'll keep it up in the air and keep his lines tight. That's how strong that 61 is.
Wow.
It does a good job, but you know, and we're flying at 4,460 feet here, which is quite high. So that engine, you know, for that heavy airplane is doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But I told him the other day, just think what it'll do if you lose, you know, half a pound off of that airplane. Just think what you could do with it, you know?
Yeah. I just
No
believe in the
question.
appearance points. I mean, I'm just giving away appearance points. So,
Well,
I just,
Well,
I
you're
want to
giving away flight points too, because you lose weight, you build something, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to make it your own instead of carving out a hollow block with a 1950s technology to do a turtle deck. We can do it cooler and lighter, much quicker, and it'll become your airplane.
Yeah.
I'm going to
people
do a
will
turtle
say,
deck on mine.
Oh, is that a custom? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Is that a custom Strega?
What is that?
Yeah.
Strega, what is that Strega weigh that you got, Charles?
Last time I weighed it was around 76 ounces.
Yeah,
At
that's
the
right in there
yeah.
with my son's.
Yeah,
I think
that's
his
with the ARF way.
heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
see, on
with the
my
ARF
son's,
way.
what I did with his is I took his landing gear and I did the 532 landing gear wire and I made it a 1/2 inch longer so we can get out of this grass. Plus, we run, I think it's a 2.5 inch tire on there. And no, it might even be 3s. We're running longer landing gear plus a bigger tire so we can get out of the grass. And still, he's flying only with a 13-inch prop. You know, he should actually be flying with a 14.
Yeah. I have a 14.5 prop right now.
Mhm.
And I do have longer landing gear.
Yeah, he's flying 13.5 on his.
Well,
That airplane does real well with a 5-pitch prop. I don't know what it is about that 5-pitch on that airplane, but it works real well.
I built that SV11 out of the old Rodak kit,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
came out at 59 ounces.
Wow.
That's not
That's
bad.
really good.
I don't know what. Well, it wasn't. It was an ARF. Now it
Wow.
weighs like 64 ounces, but it soaked a lot of oil.
But that's still, I mean, 64, you're in the ballpark. That's a good weight.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the game there.
But
You
I
know,
don't know what the new ones weigh. You know, but I heard that they're even lighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know that the Vector, we built a kit Vector and stuff, and it come out at 58 ounces. And we got the electric one with the battery and everything, and it only weighs 46.25 ounces.
Wow.
And that's weighing it with the battery.
Huh?
And it's still strong. It's still rigid
Oh yeah.
at
Yep.
46 ounces. Wow, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there was a Victor 40 kit on eBay last few days I've been watching, and it got up to
I saw
138
that.
bucks. I'm sitting there. You can buy a brand new one for 140 from
I
Brodax.
saw that. I thought
It
that was
doesn't
a
make any
mistake.
difference. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any difference there. But
Brodax.
it's already gone. Somebody won it. I didn't even bid on it. It got too high for, being able to buy a brand new one at Brodax for
I see that
140.
all the time. Is I was watching a Sig Chipmunk,
Uh-huh.
and the damn thing went for $100 some. I'm like, well, hell, you can buy it for like what from Sig for 78 or 80
Yeah,
something.
70 or 80 bucks. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the people aren't watching very close because those Sig Chipmunks come up quite often. There's still a lot of them around. And you can get them for a pretty good deal. I think these ones I got for me and my son were only like 80 bucks. And even the crap, I can't think what they call it now. The U-Fly, Rusty, or the one that doesn't have any wingtips.
Twister.
Yeah, the Twister. My son built one of them, and then I got another one. I got it for $46 off there. And you see them all the time on there. You can just buy them outright for like $57, which I think is actually pretty good on that kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wood's real hard, but you can build them. My last one was built out of one of the oldest kits out of my collection.
Mine's
And,
laser cut. My Twister's the laser cut stuff.
it's nice. Yeah.
Well, that'd be
different.
man. That laser cuts the stuff.
Yeah, that's just the way to go.
I've got my bi-slob all ready to start building. I've got it all laid out and all the wood pieces out and cleaned up and ready to start putting the thing together. So I'll start doing some work on that next week. I got a few things in the way this week, but next week I'm going to start putting that together. That'll be fun. I'm going to put a FP40 on that.
Oh, that'll be fast.
Yeah, it'll be a good engine for that airplane.
Yeah, that's a good torquey engine. It'll be able to prop hang it with a big prop.
Yeah, I think I overdid it on the gas tank, though. I got a 4-ouncer, and I think it's going to be too big. I'm going to have to go order another one from Brodax. I think I could fly at least 5 minutes with that on a 3-ounce tank.
Not my 40.
Really?
No, I need 5 ounces to fly a pattern and still have.
Yeah, you need to put some pantyhose on that girl.
Yeah, I might. You're right. I might need to. I'll lean down a little bit.
Lean them
Is
out.
is that a FP42?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a
Yeah,
gas
those are good motors, man. Yeah, but they get thirsty.
It's a John Tate modified motor.
Oh, nice.
Well, my son had this one on his P40, and that thing, that's a good running engine, but I stole it from him.
Y'all had a name for that engine I've got the other night. I think somebody called it the Tater Hole or something like that.
What do you got there, Steve? Is that a Yugoslav combat ship?
They call it a McKinsey, and I guess at one time it was a fast combat back in the day when you had to run non-pressurized tank.
Yeah.
And I got one with a FP25 on it. Stuff we flew it yesterday.
Was it the Texas Twister? Very similar to that.
Yeah, it's made by. It started with an M, and I guess you could order these by the box, and different guys did shit a little bit different.
Yeah, cases full of them.
Texas Twister and
yeah. Yeah, I got a Twister in the attic.
Well, it's crazy. Oh wait, no wonder that's.
So did you score all this stuff up at Toledo?
No, a friend of ours died a week ago Saturday.
Oh, God bless him.
Oh yeah.
And he had it planned. He wanted to sell all the stuff because he knew he was never going to fly again. So it was planned for Saturday. So we went over there. My brother got an Impact with a PA 61 pipe, everything for $200.
Oh wow.
Another guy got a that orange plane that Brodeck sells. It's a 60 size.
Oh, the T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Oh
T-Rex.
yeah, that's 75 engine. My son's got one of them. It's got the OS FX 75 in it.
Okay, this one's got a double star 61. $100 for that.
Oh my!
It's been flown 3 times, but yeah, they got that Strega there and stuff, and then there's some other kind of airplane we don't know what it really is. It's partway done and it has a Super Tiger 51, but he had a bunch of motors there. He's got a side exhaust GMA jet. It says jet on the side and GMA written on it.
Yeah.
It was number 120 something. I think it's a 51 side exhaust. But
yeah, those jet motors are expensive. They're like the Rojets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of them guys, you know, they were getting them $50 for this and that, but I just kind of felt bad. It's like they were just taking anything we offered. He wanted us to have it, but it's like I just couldn't bring myself to giving them $50 for a $300 engine and shit like that. So I just said, well, nah, I'm just thinking because you know, I was going to give them $40 for the McKinseys and the little half A's, and they only take 20. But we had no motor stuff like that on them. But
he's probably happy to know that people got his stuff that are going to use it and take care of it.
That's the way I feel about it too. I mean,
me too.
Ready to get rid of my stuff, they can have it. Anybody that thinks they'll
just use
it,
you can use it. Yep, that's how I'm going to do it.
I don't care about money. Hell,
I'm taking mine with me.
Money all my life. I don't need any.
Dig a big hole and put it all in there with me.
Yeah.
If you can take it with you,
I'll be laying like this.
I do that.
I'll be clutching engines and stuff.
Here's my new 60.
That's why they call it a death grip.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh,
Hey, listen, if and when we have to leave here because of hurricanes, which is rare because my wife is an insurance person and we have to stay. And, you know, they try to scare us to leave by the police come or the sheriff and they fill out ID tags. They say, put this on your ankle so we can identify you. Anyway,
psychological
what
warfare.
You can tell what your most valuable things are is we can only take so much stuff in my wife's Hummer. So I've got 2 of these plastic totes. What do you think's in them? I've got some handguns and model airplane motors.
What about your pipes and your lures?
Yeah, I have my rods are in the top of the car anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You been going fishing lately, Terry?
Yes, sir. We had the mullet run. Didn't I send you the drone footage?
Yeah, I keep looking at it. Hadn't watched it though. I have watched some of the racing boat stuff though. Man, that is.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Awesome, scary.
I never wanted to grow my hair like that to run in some kind of mullet run.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm fit for it.
Hey,
listen, what is funny is there's this mullet run. Now I send this to a lot of people, and that young man that did the video is one of the Carrying the Pirates gang, and he's flying some RC gliders too now. But he does a nice job with his videos and stuff. But they have these. It looks like an oil slick in the water, and it's mullet. And you got all these tourists out there waiting in it, thinking this is the coolest thing. And 10, 15 feet away are these huge sharks.
Yeah. They do the same they do the same with Menhaden around here.
Yes, sir.
Big purple stripes with the sparkly fish jumping and go swim out there to it. And I'm like, dude.
Not yet. Hey, Rusty, one thing you got to remember, though, they're not fishing poles.
They're rods.
They're rods. I mean, we call them back here fishing poles, fishing whatever all the time. And Terry's like, on my case, it's not a fishing pole.
Listen, if you call it a pole, we'll give you one. They're made out of bamboo and they got a cork on them.
That's what I was about to say. We used to fish for sheephead with poles.
There you go.
About a 15-foot bamboo pole and reach over to the end of the groins and dunk them in the holes.
Hey,
with
Steve.
Crabs on them.
I've been having to spend time with my wife and everything, Rusty and everybody. That's where I've been. Anyway, I was listening to you about the long lines. Now, let me just say something. If a control line airplane, like one of my combat ships, turns about a 15-foot circle,
Yeah.
it'll turn that 15-foot circle on 60-foot lines or 1,000-foot lines. Makes no difference. Where the difference is the radius of the dome you're flying in increases, so your stunts would get huge.
Yeah.
Now, what we've done by moving to 85 and 100-foot lines with some of these experimental planes, we are now allowing the LA-46 to run. For all the time I've had the 46, I'm always trying to tame it back and run it rich and tractor it around.
Into its happy RPM.
And it loves it. The plane's flying about 170, but it's on a 100-foot line, so it makes no difference.
Yeah, so
it buys us the time. 6-second lap.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the other day when I lost my muffler on my 45 playing, flying my, what the hell do I fly all the time? Well, anyway, I lost the engine muffler on that thing, and that thing was just screaming. But the difference was I was doing loops in probably 5 feet. I mean, half the distance what I was before. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, plus you had like an aft CG too. The CG moved when you lost.
Crap,
Yeah,
that thing was
tail
fast.
when that muffler came off.
Yeah.
Shit,
My brother and I was talking about lines links today, and I told him that what I found out is if you fly an airplane at 5 4-second laps on 60-foot lines, or you have it out there at 70-foot lines, when you do a square, your corner is faster. When you go from here to here,
I would agree, because as the lines increase, your plane picks up speed.
well,
You're flying quicker. You don't have to, but
flat, say at 100 miles an hour, I don't know what it actually is, but if it's at 100, you're doing 100 here, and you're turning that 90, and it's square. Or if you're doing 60, and you turn a square. There's a lot more speed in trying to time that turn.
Oh, sure.
You can fly the airplane itself and do a square turn, the more time you have to make that turn.
Well, and that's right, because if you've got the airplane that has the capability of running that extra line length, then you're finding the potential to what the airplane can do. That's what I found on this airplane the other day. I was at the potential of what the airplane can actually fly. And that's why I'm going to be going from on this 57-foot lines to 62s, because I flew that thing on my 67-foot lines, and it's like that was just over the edge of what that airplane can really do. I need to back it up to the 62s, and I think it'll be totally happy.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let me lay a thought on you guys. There has been no rethinking of control lines since the late 30s, because they had to use steel because there was nothing else. Let me tell you, we have deep sea fishing lines that are thinner, a little less than 0.013, 500 pounds. It's Kevlar with braided Dacron and polymer. I can't think of that other leader material now. Copolymer leader. Co-filament.
G-Sunk.
But it's got to be a lot lighter than steel.
Yeah, it's way lighter than steel. And my buddy up north tried it this weekend. He tried 70s and he went to 85s and 100s with a copy of this plane with the OS-46AX in it, radio controlled. And I was watching it live streamed when his name is Squeaky. I don't know his other name. Wow, you see the conundrum when you say, oh, Squeaky was showing me the video. People think you're friends with squirrels or something. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, these new lines, we're using them, and I sent the AMA everything they needed. I sent them manufacturer data sheets and then all the stress sheets from the IGFA, and I drove down there 2 weeks ago for a meeting. It's in Pompano. And they have all the line testing equipment there, not only for pull, but abrasion and everything else. And let me tell you, when you drop the weight of that heavy steel line and you can reduce the thinness, like certainly Sparky, you know of spider wire. That was one of the first successful braided lines to come out.
I would be willing to, I definitely would try it.
13,000s. Is there any steel in it, or is it all the
composite? No, it has 86 strands of Kevlar, and you think that's a lot, but the Kevlar strands are so minuscule, and they're twisted. And then there's braided Dacron, and the Dacron is actually, there's videos on this, like you can find them on YouTube, and then it's like computer. They mimic the butt of a spider where they spin the web.
Yeah.
Spin the thing. So they have the spinner heads, and then everything's braided together, and then there's a copolymer put over the outside of it. Fluorocarbon. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Well, here's an advantage. You have that.
It's less stretch than steel cable.
Yeah, less stretch. I want to give it a try. If you're talking 500-pound weight, pull test.
Yep.
You can't get half of that with the steel line, even in 18s.
And steel line has very poor abrasion quality. Ask any of the combat guys.
Yeah.
Well, look how easy it is to put a kink in the stuff. One little pull, and you got a kink in it.
So what would the pull rate be on say 15,000s braided wire?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's only about 70 pounds or so.
Yeah,
Terry,
I think it's under 100.
Get that information.
Oh, I can get it.
So this new stuff is 500 at 13,000, huh?
Well, you can find a lot of the. Go to I guess Bass Pro Shops and look at the saltwater fishing lines.
I'm gonna have to do that. I want to, because I want to build me some new lines, like I say, and go out 5 more feet on my 40 size and 5 more on my 60 size. This would be a good time to do it.
There's no need to go with a super high poundage. There's no need for it. Now, the one complaint, if there is a complaint or maybe a problem, and I don't know if it's a problem, is that the line manufacturers try to keep the line as limp as possible. And we like to have that kind of stiffness from the wire. At least that's what everybody says when you unspool this. They go, oh my God, is this going to work? But as soon as the plane gets on it, then you're fine.
Yeah, excuse me, but the reason why that limpness in the still lines is because it's easier to get them pulled out there and get them straight and follow them out. Where your fishing line, you might be doing the curvy thing going out. So,
well, no,
I definitely want to do it.
Like it spools out straight, and it's and you can't.
Yeah, I don't know. Just have to try it and see. But if it's got some enormous amount of pull, before it's breaking, I definitely want to try some.
Well, here's the deal. Like we're just going into the big fishing season.
But we got yellow, some kind of damn yellow string that we use. It's a fishing line. And we haven't had one failure yet.
Is it clear or braided?
It's some kind of braided You know,
Oh, yeah, no, it
I
won't
call it
fail you.
spider wire, but I call everything spider wire.
Yeah,
No,
well, no, a lot
no,
of the
what-
braids, they're good.
What are you flying that on, Steve?
60 size ships, everything
Oh, okay.
up to
You're already using the stuff.
yeah, it's
Absolutely.
whatever's been, you know, combat has been using and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's
Well,
what
I'm gonna have to eBay a bunch of steel line then, because I got a whole bunch of that shit.
but we
Listen, I may be able to throw you guys some line. One of the big things that you need to do here is we re-spool line all the time. So you got your backing. The first line you put on a big spool is your backing line.
Yeah.
And that's like a monofilament. And then you go to your high-end line. My son, to promote his real estate business, he just bought a spool of line. It came in the mail. It's 70 pounds. It's a $2,200 spool of fishing line. But when he goes out on a friend's boat, he brings the big spool and he re-spools their rods. And that's what puts you on the fish, because and believe me, when you hook these billfish that have been hooked several times, these pelagics, they're smart. They know, and they loop the line and try to, you know, abrade the line. I mean, they're very smart in getting unhooked. Although we release them, we don't kill them anymore.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I'll be able to send you, Steve, send me your address, and I'll get some line, because we put the line in these white buckets, and there's nothing wrong with the line. I'll just line some up and put it in an envelope and send it to you guys. You'll have some line to play with for nothing.
Oh, okay.
No,
The line should be coming in.
Samantha would be flying on it if we could use it at the Worlds or whatever, at the Nats. We fly on wire because she's used to it. And there's a big difference in
Oh yeah, there would be.
better the airplane flies with this light line.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's a different feel, I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Steve, I got another question for you. On your score wing back there, you have obviously run new lead outs out of that thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because mine, when I got mine, the lead outs were only out of the wing about 3 inches. I mean, if you had to redo an end, you don't have the wire to do it.
I didn't like the crimped ends on them and stuff, so I pulled the I took and actually clipped the ends off, and then glued and taped new wire to it, and then pulled it back through, and then I had a metal bell crank. I put a SIG bell crank in it, and then I used the copper tubing to go through and make loops. It worked out really nice.
Okay, I'm with you.
But yeah, it wasn't that hard because there's already a hole in the wing, and
yeah,
and on the bottom side there's a hole for a nut driver. And
right.
you can just take it out and pull the whole thing out and slide a new one back in. It probably took me a half hour.
Yeah.
To do the
I
whole
just
thing.
run mine with what they sent me in the factory, and I thought, boy, I want to have this replaced one day. And I see yours out there. I'm going, hey, yeah, it's.
Yeah, we got another one out there, buddy's flying, and we haven't had a problem with it, but I figured that I was just going to redo it. And I never did get the damn thing finished. So, but that was going to be one of Samantha's airplanes, but it was going to weigh over about 70 ounces. And it's like,
yeah, that's
it's
another
up there.
75-ounce airplane. If you're running a big 60 unit.
But
gentlemen, I think we're gonna have to call it a night. I'm thinking maybe I ought to start this show 20 or 30 minutes earlier, since it seems like we're going on pushing 1 o'clock more and more lately. But
9:15.
yeah, that's the only problem is we eat late suppers around here.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so do I.
Well,
I have
what
a
it is
problem
that
getting
it's
on earlier.
late for us, but it's early for Charles. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got a problem here. It's only quarter. Well, it's 10:48 here my time, so that's
And
not
really,
bad.
and it's really early for Gerald. And actually, he's got
Yeah, it is.
he comes here a day late.
Yeah, he's a day late.
You know what?
At
Neither
least
me
he's
or
not $1 short.
Yeah.
I could have gone to the dinner anyway.
I'm not
Right
going
on.
to be down. I'm going to be in Huntersville this coming Friday.
Oh,
And
okay.
I can't
Well,
do
have
it
fun, man.
up there. So I guess we'll just call it a scratch for this Friday. Unless
Oh, okay.
somebody,
We can always meet over at Terry and the Pirates.
yeah,
Yeah.
if y'all want to get together, or you can have a Google Hangout. Anybody can
Yeah,
start one
whatever.
and record on.
Drive safe, man.
Whatever.
All right.
Drive
See you
safe.
guys later then. It was
All
good.
right. Take it easy, Otto. Bye, Gerald.
It was fun.
See you guys.
Later, guys.
Hey, Otto. Good seeing you, man.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And you
Yeah.
YouTube viewers, we still got 6 of you. We've had
Yeah,
up
I
to
don't-
about 15 tonight at one time. So it was a good YouTube night. And so everybody, thanks a lot. And as far as I know, we're going to take this Friday off from the YouTube side anyway. And these guys might be on there to entertain you somewhere else. But everybody, have a great week. And tight lines, fair winds. And we'll see y'all later.
See you, man.